DJ House Thing, sound kind of special. DJ House tem Sando Cano Special.
Cairo. mic is not working right now, but it is. Folks, thank you. Thank you. Jesus, thank you. Thank you. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you this afternoon. And we want to say thank you for all your blessings. Thank you, Jesus, for making us to see this day again, putting us in a new year. Lord, you're wonderful. Some of us think that some of us have done. If some of these people around here, they were gone, some of us will be gone. But with you, forgiveness is with you. And I said, thank you. Those of us that have sinned, continue to pour your blessing on us. We are your kids. And I want to thank you for this wonderful, wonderful new year. And we ask you, the Lord, to please continue to bless our country. Continue to bless those leaders. Continue to bless the advocates. Continue to bless those that are talking for the voiceless. Truly, truly talking for the voiceless. Thank you. Continue to bless them. Because some of them are doing it not just for themselves. And you know who they are. Open the door for them to understand with each other, including the leadership, so that Liberia will move forward. Lord, only you can provide that type of avenue. And again, as we start this new year, we look up to you to provide the guidance. Continue to pour your blessing down on Liberia and Liberians, in the diaspora and at home. Thank you. Thank you. I'm praying to my own God, or I'm praying to your God. I don't say y'all, I say me. Okay. There was another thing I want to make an announcement here, a very sad news. The former NBA commissioner, David Stern, passed today, and our prayers and thoughts are with his family. Commissioner NBA brought too much happiness to many, many of us. It was a good time, and we say God bless his soul as well. Safety. First day of the year, in the first year in a decade that to come. Please stay safe. Don't violate these people's law. They're not total law these people going by. These people law that different law. In total, you violate a law. In total, you might say, oh, I'm going to call my father. They play, you don't call father. They don't care who you are. You violate the law, they're coming after you. Obey the rules in this country. And because of the rules are so stringent in this country, the society continues to prosper. And so please, obey the rule. Keep to yourself most of the time. Stay out of trouble. They play too far. You come way over, you fly over Atlantic Ocean. You got no train going to Africa, that's for sure. Some of you came on a boat, I'm not too sure. But either way, you cross the Atlantic Ocean. You come over here to put money in people's pocket. You come over here to look for trouble. Your mind, pardon, they're looking up to you here just because you want to get in trouble. Please. And I know you guys are responsible. I have seen many, many, many of you. And you're responsible. Hard worker. I will continue to say that until Liberian can prove me otherwise. I believe the culture of Liberia is within us and continue to produce the best out of us. And let's keep it up. Because the young people, our sons, daughters, they watch us. So if daddy, mommy can do it, I can do it. Mom goes to work at night, come in the day, find food for the kids, get ready for the kids to go to school, go to sleep, wake up again, do the same thing. Never once have she complained to say, I am unable to do it today. Dad gets up, go to work. He ain't do much. He come by, what might be here? That kind of thing there. But that's okay. That's okay. He's also providing for his family. And that's who we are. We work together as partners. So please, keep it up this year. It's a wonderful thing to know. Those of you that, in the East Coast or even here in Sacramento, you visit from one to another. In fact, from here after my show, I'm going to go be doing a DJ tonight at a birthday party. That's why there was a phone call here. Immediately after my show, I'm taking my Satoka and I'm going to be a DJ at a birthday party this evening. That's what we do. And then tomorrow morning I'm going to work. I have to. And I'm not alone. There are many, many, many of you that prepare yourself. And so I want to thank you. Thank you for making Mama Liberia proud. There's a competition. They have other African nationals in the United States. But we're there too. We're pushing our way positively. Thank you. Let's get on with the show. Samson told LIBERIA Public it's going to be a very interesting analysis of my show here tonight. There's a lot of competition on, don't get me wrong, but I will do my best to draw you guys, and I'm going to be sure, but by the time I get into the first or second segment, you will be calling friends that are on the other show to leave that show to come to my show. Because the analysis has been so good that you will say, yes, this is a place to be. It's an intellectual platform. Samson told LIBERIA, and I'm not hiding, and I'm not going to take second seat to nobody on that one, because this is truly LPR, intellectual platform. If I can even pronounce that, then it is intellectual, but I can't pronounce it. I don't care. A total intellectual. Let me put it really up. Folks, I want to welcome you guys on the wonderful, wonderful New Year Day. So thank you very much for joining us. Let's have fun. This is the only way we're going to move this country forward. Things are hectic back home right now. Things are hectic. But let's go on. Let's start the show. This is, of course, President of the Republic of Liberia, duly elected by the people. 61.5% of Liberian electorate decided this is the person we want for 6 years. After that, we can talk about it later. But for now, Samson told, I say yes. The Liberian people, I talk to me. Samson told, I say yes. They said, this is the president we elected. We know you don't want him, but he's the one we want. I said, okay. If that's what you say, so be it. And what's his name again? I asked them. They said, from now on, call him Dr. Weah. I said, Dr. Weah, it is. That's not me, that's Liberian people. So this is our president, Dr. Weah, duly elected by Liberians to be the president. Yeah, we're crying. Some of us that say, hey, why you do that to us? Hey, Samson told, they said, have you read the Constitution lately? I thought you call yourself some kind of total educated person, somebody from total high school. Total, you even get high school. I said total high school. That sounds shit. I said, yeah, I graduated from total elementary. They said, okay. Do you know anything about Liberian Constitution? I said, hey, maybe. They said, okay, go read. We have the right to elect. And then after that, every 6 years, we repeat that process. You don't like who we have now, come next time and campaign. Then we'll see what you got. I say, okay. But for now, this is my president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Weah, president of the Republic of Liberia. Let me go on. I'm going to play another video here. And this video basically is to remind Dr. Weah and his people what some of the things they've gone through. And Dr. Weah continued to focus on roles. And this year, 2020, I will do this publicly here. That if the opportunity is there not to work, I don't want anybody paying me. But once they start the process, and I know the process is going on, the road from Ganta to Zwedru, if I know it start, I'll go in there. I will go and force my way through. I want to review, especially as they go in towards my area, I want to review the plans. And I want to review their construction menu, exactly how they're constructing these things. Because one of the things that I want to pay attention to if I'm successful in truly myself into the people process because they probably most likely not going to take me because I have that similar situation when I went to Liberia. They have a Grand Judea County has something to do, put some sort of role playing in together with another company to do a role from Zlatan all the way to Bison, Plo to be specific. I mean, Wo to be specific. So when I got there, the principal, the superintendent, assistant superintendent for development told me about it. I said, okay. So I called the people. I said, I want to look at your plans. They said, okay, we got nothing to hide. So the time come. When I call him to say, okay, I'm on my way, he said, oh, I'm out of town. Let's meet Monday. Monday I call him, he said, oh, yeah, but right now I'm somewhere else. Like brother said, dodging. Keep dodging me. But this time around, it's a national role. I will intrude myself in it. First of all, I'm going to go and present my credential as a person that is duly engineer, roadway engineer. I'll present all my credentials. I'm not going to lie to them. I say, this is what I do. This is what I've been doing for the last 500 years. I want to see. And if they say no, which they have the right to do, he gets me, who is this fool here? Get out of here, man. Then I come back, I report to y'all. You see? That's how it's going to work. I don't know what power y'all get to enforce anything, but I would do it on a very serious note. Let me just play the video where Dr. Weir was able to walk in the mud, and hopefully that's the process that is going through his mind to say, I have to fix this road. Let's play that. Samson told LeBron Public Radio. Happy New Year, folks.
Let's make sure you do that same thing for you can hold. That will hold the stage. No, I don't need show the road. You must stay. What kind of junior that before? No, I beg you. Man, I didn't finish. Salome said, don't done. Let's make sure you do that same thing for you can hold. That will hold the stage. No, I don't need show the road. You must stay. What kind of junior that before?
There you have it, folks. That was Dr. Weir. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on. There's certain thing I wanted to straighten up here. Folks, again, welcome on LIBERIA Public Radio. We want to thank you very much. Let's go ahead and start the show here this afternoon. we are having some issue in Liberia. As you know, the protest was postponed. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that here tonight. But what I really, really like about this protest, what the protests have exposed as far as Liberian, with respect to Liberians and everything else, that what I really like is that once again, this protest has exposed Liberians with their ability to quickly run to God, which is good. It's good for me. For me, I really like that. Immediately after the protest, even though it was canceled, and I'll go into all of that according to me, my analysis here. And then usually people like the winner and loser, that kind of stuff, but that's fine. I can do that. I'm not saying you should accept it. But what I want to take out of this here quickly is how quick the protesters themselves and even the government were able to gravitate towards God the next day. Dr. Weah and Costa, Henry Costa, were under so much pressure. It was unbelievable. And so where do you think these two people will go to relieve that pressure? Church. Dr. Weah, for he has his own church, so he can go there. But let's listen. Let me play this here as Dr. Weah was able to pray for the country. Folks, this is very interesting. I've seen it before. Only one time in my lifetime, President Tubber used to preach. In fact, he was a preacher. So it's not something that Dr. Weah is doing new person, starting something new. No, it's been done before. But for him, someone who was being in the eyes of the public, football player, soccer player, young man, okay, and government leading Liberia at this time, and now putting yourself in the church. That image is sometimes difficult to reconcile as far as I'm concerned. But it's easy to see. Because what other places you're going to go except for juju men? And I don't think any of them want to do juju business. So they decided immediately after that to relieve their pressure. They gravitate towards God. Let's watch what I'm talking about. Let's see Dr. Weah in the process of the. I just took a. You can go and watch the entire. I think it was a 45 minutes or so. His section of the program, 45 minutes or so. He talks a lot about a lot of things, but I'm not going to play those. I just want to play the part where he prayed for the country. And then after that, he asked Liberians to reflect back on what has happened in 2019. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's listen to this. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Before I do that, let me face myself first. Is there my children out of Bezo? Yeah, I want to part. No, go come. Amen. From 2018, I can sit down for low bow on the team. I beg you. By the way, let's play Dr. Weah. Let's listen in Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio.
From the Public John Gallery Public Flagship Church, I look forward to this game as I welcome His Excellency, Hallelujah. You may have your seat. Well, let me now start by asking everyone to close your eyes and let us pray. God of all time, God of all time, Help us enter the new year quietly, thoughtful of who we are to ourselves and to others, mindful that our steps make an impact and our words carry power. May we walk gently. May we speak only after we have listened well. Creator of all life, help us enter the new year reverently, aware that you have endowed every creature in plants, every person inhabitant with beauty and purpose. May we regard the world with tenderness. May we honor rather than destroy. Lover of all souls, help us enter the new year joyfully, willing to laugh and dance and dreams, remembering our many gifts with thanks and looking forward to blessings yet to come. May we welcome our lavish love in this new year. May the grace and peace of Christ bless us now and in the days ahead. Amen. Pledges, friends and family in Christ, parishioners, I stand on this pulpit this evening anticipating the ending of the 1 year and anticipating the arrival of the new year to bring you message as God has revealed into my heart. The outgoing year 2019 has been an incredible year. As this come to an end, we should pause and reflect on those things that have transpired during its 12 months. The things we have seen, the things we have heard, the things we have done, those things that we have left undone, for better or for worse. From the Pocket General.
That, folks, that was Dr. Weir praying. First, he prayed for the country, where he said God should guide us, and those of us that are able to do something, we should do it willingly. And I'm just paraphrasing now. And then he went on to say how we should reflect back on 2019, things that we see, things that we don't see, and everything else. I thought that was very interesting, especially having had these issues of protest going to happen, protest not going to happen. How do you go from that high drama? Because seriously, it was a high drama where you have the UN, the United States Embassy, and everybody else involved in the discussion, and literally lives, decision for life, living or dead, was in his hand. How do you come from the high performance ability to be able to be at that level and come back to this where you offer a prayer? I thought that was very interesting, because some people, speculation has it that he does not have the caring factor in him, that he is there only for himself, that he take the people money and do X, Y, and Z. Now you can say, but Samson, anybody can do that. Even churches, the people can take money and take. But that's not even the point that I'm making. But to come from that issues where the day before, Monrovia, either way they have turned, it would have been on fire. To come from there and be able to seek God, that was wonderful. And then again, I just want to say thank God for this intervention, and thank God to even be able to have President Weir to come into the church and pray and pray for the country. I hope that would inspire him himself. Just by listening to himself, that would inspire him more to do more, to get the churches involved. Of course, then people are going to accuse him of separation of churches and state. That's fine. But I think for him to put himself at that position, it's good to know. Those of all that believe, it's good to know. Now let's go on the opposite end of this spectrum here. Also, in this political kabuki dance that was happening on Monday, okay, we also saw the COP had their press conference. And I told you guys that among all of the stakeholders and among all of the players in that particular drama, nobody was more happy and very glad that this thing didn't go forward than Henry Costa himself. The young man, the reason I know that is the day before Monday, which is Sunday, he had a brief Facebook broadcast, and you could tell from his face, his eyeballs, underneath his eye, were like a little bag. You could tell the pressure was just too much. For Dr. Weir, I'm not too sure if the pressure, well, you can say maybe the pressure is a little bit different from what he used to, because when he used to play soccer, there was also pressure to produce. But I think that kind of pressure is a little bit, but pressure is pressure. I'm not even going to quantify or try to separate it. So Costa was under tremendous pressure, not only with Liberians and not only with the international community, but with himself. With himself, because he's quite aware. People call him names. People insult him. And he did what he did on June 7th. So now to come back and replicate that was very, very, very tense moment. Because he was, until it happened, he has no clue what was going to be the result. Because he didn't know, he couldn't tell whether they were going to stop problems or there was going to be issues, people were going to die. He has no clue. The only thing he was counting on was himself and his God. So the pressure to produce was on him. And so when the international community stepped in, because they also knew that the sign of going into Monday, the sign were there that this was not, most likely might not turn out to be what he thought it would be. That most likely it might be a little bit complicated. It might be a little bit chaotic than what they're used to. Then what do they do then? So basically they're coming in and the government saying you can, they know they're going to have an impact. And they might be ugly. So I suppose they brace themselves for that. But then how do you then come back to say, I did it for the second time? And I think the bragging right was much more important in this situation to many of them. I put children in the street and nothing happened. Yeah, 1979, they put us in the street, people died. Every time people have demonstrations, something here and there. And June 7th, nothing. So they have lifted the bar of protest, non-violent protest in Liberia. They lifted the bar so high that now for them to come back and try to replicate that was very tenseful. That was very tense. I mean, the pressure was just too much. And I told you guys on Monday, I said no one was more relieved than Costa for the intervention. Of course, he called it intrusion, but for the intervention of the international community. And I'll talk to the international community as well later. Because I truly believe that the vacillation, the wappling, and whatever you want to call it, One minute they here, another minute they on this side, caused the issues to escalate to that point. I truly believe that, because if the international community had come out and do like what this congressman did, he didn't pick side. He basically state facts of things that we've seen. So that was a warning to everyone else that was involved. Okay? So, but they didn't do that. They couldn't come out on the side of the COP, and they couldn't come out on the side of the government, but they were not neutral either, because their statement were not neutral. Sometimes they take the government position, and another time they will take the COP position trying to question the government. So when people, and these people that they were, I keep telling people, the Liberian of today, they are sophisticated. You come and try to bluff them, they can see the bluff, and they can put elephant through that hole that you're trying to bluff them through. So you can't fool anybody, especially young Liberians. And this perhaps created the issue that escalated to the point of government saying, because remember now, the day before we were reading, the government said they were going to provide protection. What happened in between? Because the tone of the protester didn't change. It was the tone of the international community that changed, caused the government to believe that they had the upper hand. Okay? So anyway, the international community, my belief, made a mess of it, and they decided, okay, we're going to try to get involved now. And they did. But going back to Custer, he was so relieved that this thing was done with. But let's listen. I'll play 2 clips from him. The first one, you can see the release in his face, in fact, from his statement, how thankful he was. But he went not just say, thank you, my Lord, he went into the Bible and started making references to the Bible. That's the first clip. The second clip, and I want people to look at that very keenly. I mean, listen to it very keenly, because the second clip that I'm going to play for Custer tells you the whole process, how Custer got involved in this. He's not going to tell you how he got involved, but just from listening to it. These things, those of us that have been around for a while can attest to some of the pressure and some of the situation Custer is facing. Here in the diaspora, when I got here back in the day, the young progressive, there were many of them have transitioned back to Liberia, but they were still, half or so were still here trying to finish their program, master program, or what have you. So they were here. And ULAD was one of the avenues they were using to continue to put pressure on the government at that time. So when I came, that government was already done. But the process of trying to unite Liberians to speak with one voice at that time through EULA was still heavy. In fact, people like Tom Wowoyu, who was then, for some reason, they decided to sway EULA to a certain position that was not conducive to the process of maintaining one voice system that was established, for which EULA was established, that they took it away and veered towards certain position that was not comfortable to many, many Liberians in the diaspora. But the fact that they had the leadership of EULA, they could do that, because that's, you can't call that democracy. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make, there were many young Liberians here in the United States that were going to school, marry, have kids. But because of their involvement in the Liberian issues, I've seen it. I know some of them. Some people have their marriages fail, not because they were cheating or anything like that, but every little meeting about Liberia, they were there. One of the meetings is happening in Chicago, and the people live in California, they will go there. Any meeting about Liberia, that was before the war though, not because of the war. So Liberia have always been involved. And there are some among us that immerse themselves into Liberian issues so much that it affected their family lives. Some were married, but they were not able to pay attention to their kids. Their kid went astray. I know that. I've seen it. I've seen it. Many of them. I know many of them. I'm just not going to name names here this evening. Okay? So these things, to get involved into advocacy, into get involved into trying to speak for the voiceless, it's not something you can just get in and get out. Yes, some of us get in because of certain reasons. But there are those who are involved, immerse themselves in this, and they're not turning around because it's difficult to do. Because once you get in and your position has become permanent in a community, your position, your whatever medium that you have, I'm not talking about Facebook or anything, but whatever way you communicate, and people start communicating through you, how do you then say, I'm changing now? You now become the vessel, you now become the conduit for these people, the voiceless, to speak to whatever power that is. And I think the second video that I'm going to show, Custer explained that. And this is what I want you guys to understand who Custer is with respect to the Liberian issue. Forget about Custer cussing this and Custer cussing that and all of that kinds of stuff. Or Custer saying, I'm going to buy arms, and forget those things. The second video that I'm going to show you tonight about Custer, it happened on his show. You can go on his show December 31st and you'll be able to see it. So it's not something he did on the ground and sent it to me. No, I don't even know him anyway. He doesn't even know who I am. But these kinds of things, because of my analytical prowess, let's put it that way, I can pick these things up very quickly. Remember, I'm an engineer, so I analyze a lot. And so when I apply that to human being, wow, Samson, to really? The PhD amount, what kind of man they are? You're going to take mathematical, analytical, and then put it to human being? Wow, my man. Well, they highly educated people among us. They're cracking their phone right now. I can't listen to me, man. Oh my God! It's New Year. Why not? Why not? I'm BSing a little bit. Why God cannot just do that? No, folks, I'm just putting some fun in there. Yeah, because I can do math, therefore I'm going to understand human being. Those things don't match, Mr. Tool. Please don't do this to the audio folks and forget about that. I'm just putting some fun into this thing. But on a very serious note, if you've been around people for a while, you'll be able to understand. And the story that I just gave you about progressive Liberians, young progressive Liberians in the days, there were some very serious issues. Marriages failed. Kids were not able to be with their fathers or none with their moms because it was not just men. Women were involved. I just don't want to name names. Okay? So let's listen to Custer, the first video, where you could see that he was so relieved about this issue and was so thankful to God. Because remember, he also believed that his life was on a threat. Let's listen to Custer. Samson told LeBron Pablito, and folks, it's New Year. Let's put some fun into this. But let's listen to Custer on a very serious note. Let's listen. The video, I'm not too sure what was happening to their internet, but it wasn't that quite up to par as usual. But let's listen to this anyway. Samson told LeBron Pablito.
Good morning and welcome to the program. You're listening to The Costa Show. I'm Henry Costa, your humble servant. Today is a the last day in the year 2019, December the 31st, 2019. December 2019 is no more and is gone. And for most of us, ordinary Liberians, it's a wasted year. It's a year that saw conditions in our country worsen. It's a year that saw poverty increase. It's a year that saw increased divisiveness, or perhaps divisiveness we haven't probably seen ever in our country's history. And but there is still a lot to be hopeful for. You see, we never gave up. Such is the way of mankind. We may waver. Our spirits may even be dampened from time to time, as ours are right now, as you can imagine. But never must we give up on what we believe, and especially, particularly, on what we love. And we love our country, and we love ourselves. And it is a very difficult period in our country's history. I am of the belief that sometimes when people badly want something, and they badly want something, sometimes God allows them to have what they want. And it may not be the best thing for them, but that is what they may want. And of course, the Bible, which I profoundly, deeply believe in, is replete with annals of such, example. For example, the children of Israel had God as their king, and they were lucky, but they didn't realize how just lucky they were to have the Lord Almighty as their king. An infallible king, a king who never makes any mistakes, a king who cares for his people, who places them before himself. And God was their king, and they said, like every other nation around them, they wanted a king for themselves, one whom they could see, they could touch, they could interact with, and so they wanted a king. And God being a Democrat, oh yes, God is a Democrat. Democracy comes from God. You want me to give you a perfect example? When God made Adam and Eve and placed them in the Garden of Eden, and he said to them, these are the things you can eat and do, and these are the things you cannot do and eat. Do you think if God were not a Democrat, he would have simply made them, engineered them, wired them in such a way that they would do exactly what he wanted them to do? But when God gives you free will, that is democracy. And so God is a Democrat. So democracy comes from God. Yes, the Greeks may have perfected it. The Greeks may have developed the philosophy around it, but the origin of democracy comes from God, because God allows us to have free will. And so the children of Israel said they wanted an earthly king. And then they said they wanted Saul. And Saul was a strong man. And God knew Saul was not a good man. God knew Saul would not be a good king. But they said they wanted Saul. And so God sent his prophet Samuel and said, Samuel, go ye forth and anoint thee Saul, king of Israel. Yes, to satisfy the children of Israel. And so God made Saul king. And in no time the children of Israel began to cry. Yeah, they became weary. They became gloomy, and they became dejected. And they were crying about how cruel Saul as a king was, how their lives had become miserable. And in no time they began crying unto God, and God being God, and God being merciful, and God being forever enduring, and God heard their cry. But God didn't act so fast, because God acts in his own time. God listens all the time. There are times he acts fast, and there are times he does not. And then God sent the prophet Samuel. He says, Samuel, go to the house of Jesse and find that boy called David. He's a shepherd. He is the one after my heart. He is the one I want to make king. And God told prophet Samuel, he said, when you go on this mission, it's a risky mission, you are going to anoint a successor to a sitting king. And when he hears of it, he will attempt to kill you. And so I charge you, Samuel, go. And when King Saul learns of your mission, lie to him. God told the prophet Samuel to lie. I guess some of you are wondering, they say God works in mysterious ways, and you're wondering, of course, God told the prophet Samuel, if Saul hears of your mission, that you are in Israel to anoint David as king, he will kill you. So I, God, am telling you to lie to Saul. And of course, he did that. He went forth and he anointed David. But it took 14 years before that happened. But ours is not going to take 14 years. This president will leave under pressure from the Liberian people. There will be no war in this country. There will be no war in this country. I cannot say there will be no chaos. I can't say that. But one thing I know is that there will be no war. There will be no war in this country. There will be no massive destruction of life and property in this country. We will not see that again. In Jesus' name. Good morning and welcome to...
In Jesus' name. Folks, that was the day after Monday. That was Tuesday. And you could see how much relief he was. However, he wanted to say to the people, and you heard that. Just interpreting what he's saying, if you were listening on the ground or what have you, put your ear down, listen keenly. Basically, that God take his time to work things out. Because after this thing here, there were some people within the COP community or their supporters. Some of them were very angry. Why would the COP listen to the international community? They were angry. And so he trying to appease, well, not appease, but trying to calm the storm. To say to their brothers and sisters, don't leave us. The intervention, I'm paraphrasing, you didn't hear that from me. The intervention of the international, because for him he called it intrusion. The intervention of the international community is the will of God. In fact, during the press conference, Dallas Dillon said that. Because these people were so relieved that nobody died on their watch. This was very, very dangerous. And I'll go into that here tonight. I'll go into that. Okay? But let me play you the other video. And this is the video that I seriously want people to actually analyze. And perhaps you will understand the core of Custer. What Custer is all about with respect to the Liberian issues. I'm not talking about personal, because I don't know him. He doesn't even know me either. So I'm not going to analyze his personal whatever. No. But I mean his involvement into this Liberian issues. You can come on your own platform and cuss Custer and call him Roll and call him this and that. You're not being genuine. Because if you're going to connect his personal way of behaving, if he was crooked in the past, or if he's doing crooked things, to try to bring it into this arena, then you're not genuine, then you're not serious. You have to call it as it is. What is he doing now? We'll talk about Dr. We are correct? So let's go football. So you and somebody you used to play on coconut plantation. And the person let you dribble all the time. You get him ball, they pass the ball to him, one pass, you're dribbling. So when you get back on but you know he's a good player. So you get back on the field, real high school, or even club league, or even on the national scene. You're playing with, you're not going to give him ball because you think say he been dribbling coconut plantation. So they gave him the ball. He dribbled one time, get ball back to you. And he said, oh, the man, y'all get the ball back to me because playing ball watching, but I mean, let dribble, that dribble, that how you can play. Then you're not being serious. We're talking about what's happening now. You give him the ball, he dribble one or two, pass you the ball, you give it to him again, pass again, and you guys keep going because he's not holding on to the ball. And then you say the man let you dribble. What happened in Coconut Plantation that people didn't even see? Then you bring it in here at Anthony Tubman Stadium. Is that fair? So if you have your own platform, you can say whatever you want to say. But I want to say to you that if you're going to connect past behavior or whatever it is to this, what is happening now, then you miss the boat. And then Custer, if those of you are doing it from CDC, Custer will continue to eat your lunch. Simple as that. I say so. Samson too. Let's go on. This video that I'm getting ready to play now, I want you to pay attention to it. Maybe I missed something, but I want you to pay attention to it. The video is not quite up to par. I'm not too sure what happened to the internet, but just pay attention to it. How the lady, especially when he said there's a woman that called him and said, son, why don't you leave this thing, go back to America, go to school. And he told her, Ma, this is not what you think it is. I'm not in control. I can't just get out. Oh my goodness. I want you to listen to this. It's sad, but it's very genuine. Very genuine. And you feel for him. Even if you don't like him, you feel for him. Because for some young man, tell us something, to take that much pressure on him to want to deliver. And I'll go into that here very shortly. Listen to this, folks. It's very touching, very touching. And this, I think, will point to Custer's core belief with respect to the Liberian issue. And he said it. At the end, yeah. Let's listen. Samson told Liberian Public Radio.
And so, I want to say this to the Liberian people. After giving God thanks first and praises first, I come to you. To all of you, our wonderful, wonderful supporters. My heart goes out to you for your demonstration of patriotism, your confidence in us, standing side by side with the COP in this fight for a better Liberia, for accountability, for transparency. I say kudos to you. You gave me strength, me personally, to keep carrying on. And last night a lady called me and she said to me, she said, what about you? Could you please leave this thing and just go back to America? Go back to school? Get off the radio? Get off the show? As I listened to her, and I just listened to her. And I could tell that she really did mean good for me, that she truly cares about me, but she doesn't know. I just want to say to you, ma'am, I don't know how I do this. There's something that just pushes me, that just drives me, that just inspires me, that just motivates me. I don't think I can stop doing this. This is a moving train. Moving unbelievable speed and velocity, and there is just nothing I could do to stop this. In all my imperfections, with all my flaws, God knows where our heart lies, that we want to see the people of this country not suffer as they do. All weariness, parents this looking at their kids and they're wondering where they're going to put the first meal, going to get the first meal from. People go to hospitals and there's no, and parents are not going to school. You know, somebody said to us the other day, the enrollment rate at the United Methodist University was around 8,000 students. But COP, we care about the Liberian people. We are doing this genuinely because we care. Is it okay? Not because of ourselves, but for others, for the good of this country. We cannot continue to live like this. I say this all the time. I have absolutely no problem with George Weah staying in power for the next 4 years, or if the Liberian people think he deserves another election and they give him another election, I have no personal problem with that. It's not personal. But the way Mr. Weah runs our country is unacceptable. The way he has destroyed our country in so short a period of time is unbelievable. And some of us will not sit by and allow this to continue. And that is why the likes of Yeke Koluba, Mo Ali, Darius DeLong, Henry Costa, Sanji Stepter, Ben Tokba, Kendrick Pillina, all the other people, young people, all the people, men and women across this country who support this cause. And so,
yeah, there you have it, folks. That's Henry Costa, talking. And you can say, Mr. Toy, you're naive. Okay, so be it. So be it. If Henry Costa is really fooling all of us, pretending to be what he's not, then he has to be the genius of the trade rate. Genius. Because you can't see from his face and somebody doing that to say that he's fool. What is he fooling you for? What exactly is he going to get out of this? Money? To put himself through this for money? But then if he does that, that's worse than prostitute. Which I don't believe. I genuinely believe that this young man, even if you wanted to get out at this time, it's going to be difficult. Because not only Liberian, the international community have also put him at a certain position among us as Liberians. But that's not surprising to me because we Liberian, I'm not a young man, but I know Liberian people better too myself. Anything that is not of their doing is not good. In fact, this is how Costa got to this position. I believe, and I don't have no proof to show, but I'm going to say anyway, I believe he came to this position at first just criticizing, to be critic of the government. But what he didn't realize is that he was touching on something that is deeper than what he thought. And so he opened. I'm just saying that what I believe. And so he opened himself up to allow Liberians to go through him, to voice themselves, express themselves through him, through his radio station, through his medium. And so, like anything else, he stays on the radio how many hours? Maybe 2-3 hours or so. And people calling in, expressing their anger. Sooner or later, the position he went in, I believe, as being just a normal critic, just, making a show, blah, 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 before he realized that he has now taken on the fighting of these poor people, as we call them, voiceless. Now he's speaking for them. How do you now get back to your position of being just a normal critic? I think he passed that. And I truly believe that we all have to pray for one another. Okay? Because right now, COP, to be honest with you, they're in a position that you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in that position. Because as I stated before, Henry Costa is here going to school. Now, what is really interesting, as far as I'm concerned, what is really interesting and what really is a blessing for CDC and the Judge we-are-led government with respect to Henry Costa is that Henry Costa is now trying to educate himself to a specific area. And this is why this civil war was really, really bad for all of us. Can you imagine If Henry Costa has like a PhD or even master's in whatever area at this time, that he doesn't have to come back here for school, be worse than Tubman and Albert Port. I played you a clip earlier where Dr. Weah was in the church praying for the whole country. You want to tell me he would leave from beyond podium and go sign somebody's here, you'll go kill that person? I don't believe Dr. Weah would order anybody to kill anyone. And so as long that is not happening, Henry Costa would have been a thorn on the side of Dr. Weah. And who do we have? Who Dr. Weah had to talk about for the government? They have the Facebook Deputy Minister for Information. You know what he was talking about yesterday? Instead of engaging Costa on these issues, line by line, what was he talking about? Costa said the people pay him money, the people donated money to Costa, and Costa said the bread, he was talking about bread. Let Costa show proof that the bread is bad. That Liberian people in the diaspora, they're fooling themselves by giving Costa money. You think that's how you're going to engage Costa and win? Far from it. Far from it. Because the Liberians here in the diaspora that are giving money to Costa, they're not naive either. They believe in the struggle that they have aligned themselves with Costa. And you're going to sit there and talk about we are giving your money to Costa and eating your money? You think they will believe that? Because most of them have recognized that Costa has passed the area, has passed that line where he's not just a radio personality anymore, except to be a conduit or somebody who is speaking for the voiceless. And every one of them know that. So our Deputy Minister for Facebook, Deputy Minister for Information, you missed the mark. I won't even touch that. Okay? So that's the issue. I just want people to understand that. That while we're here in this new year, we in fact the protests, they don't know what to do right now. How do you turn against the international community? And this coming Friday, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, my show Friday, will show you my belief why Dr. Weah government is having so much problem with Liberians. That Dr. Weah government is not the only government in the history of Liberia that is perceived to be corrupt. But other governments were able to manage it. As long as you don't kill people, you can manage it. But why is it Dr. Weah, he hasn't killed anybody. The government have not put anybody on the pole. The government have not killed anybody secretly at night or anything. Why are they having so much issue with Liberians? Every little thing is on a spotlight in Liberia. First, Liberians are sophisticated, young, and here's the thing that they need to know. You're not leading people, old men like Samson told them. The people you're leading just about your own age. They're all young, and they're sophisticated. They can find out things very easily. I'll give you an example. They loan that started the very first week when Dr. Weah didn't keep power, they wanted a loan from China. Who went after them? Two brothers, just as young as they are. They transported themselves. They went all the way to dig out information. And some people were challenging them. What does this happen? It turned out to turn the loan down because people said the loan was fraudulent in the first place. So Liberians nowadays are sophisticated. You can't put no wolf over their eyes. So this coming Friday, my show will be about how did we get here? And what was some of the reasons? I will go through that. Okay? So basically what I'm saying, the reason why I'm playing this thing here, first thing I really want to thank Dr. Weah and Custer for quickly gravitating towards the church, gravitating towards God when things are hard. because only God can give you wisdom and guidance, truthfully. And since these people are dealing with people's lives, it's better to involve God in it. Let me go on to one more subject matter, and then I'll open the line. Now, this here is about COP and the Government of the Republic of Liberia and the international community. It's deeper what I'm going to say now. And this is strictly to COP and its supporters. I truly believe that you guys have stepped on something. This protesting business in Liberia. Peaceful, let me be specific. Peaceful protest in Liberia. COP, you are frightening the entire West African leadership, to be honest with you. The entire West Africa, their leadership has been frightened because they've seen it before. And not only that, those countries that profess to be democracy and preaching here and there, they are now quite ready for what you have with Costa and your people, what you guys have opened. These people are now ready for it. You have opened the eyes of young Africans. You know, people might say, oh, Mr. Toll, they may went too much. They after, okay, that's fine. I'm allowed to express myself anyway. I don't believe the international community are quite ready for this. The June 7th was, they thought it was fluke. Oh, where the people going to go? The man that radio personality, where you get what he able to get people, he able. Then when you look, thousands of people. And what were they expecting? What were they expecting? They were expecting violence. Because they knew very well Liberians coming from war. So the discipline level among young Liberians, and the young Liberian was not quite ready, they thought. But when these young militants under the COP leadership went to the gathering, they decided to put their hands in their pocket. And I'm dramatizing that. So nobody got hurt. And when that went worldwide, the African leadership, especially those crooked leaderships around West Africa, they were concerned. So what the heck? What's happening in Liberia? Because they were hoping, I believe, that there'd be some sort of conflict or something. And then they tell their citizens, is that what you want to see what happened in Liberia? Is that what you want in the country? Those were the kind of, but when there was a peace, nothing happened. They were scared. Am I too far? So now here comes a COP for the second time. And they've been beating the drum. People calling from all over the country. This thing has not been done in isolation. The international community, you know, they called Costa the other day. They say you can't clarify the statement you made on the show. People watch. They're not stupid. So, they said, no, this is big. Let me read something to here before I go on. Let's try to look back in history. Back in 2010, folks, in Tunisia, remember that? Arab Spring started from there. Peaceful demonstration. And they shook the Arab world up. Peaceful demonstration in Tunisia. And it went wild. Egypt. All over. So here we are. What Costa and his people had tapped on is way, way bigger, I believe, than them. Okay? And so we Liberian, you can say, well, for me, you can say, oh, we're sovereign country. We're sovereign country. You sovereign for sure. You independent, truly. Please. And so, but going back to this, in 2010, in Tunisia, okay, they started that, and then they started spreading all over Arab nations. And so the West African nations, Guinea, Ivory Coast, they said, I mean, look at the kind of situation that is happening in Ivory Coast right now. Look at the situation that is happening in Guinea. And you want next door Liberia to have a peaceful demonstration. Hundreds of thousands of young people to gather, and all they do is sing. That's frightening. That is very frightening to the survival of those countries around us. And the international community could not, first time it happened, they couldn't believe their eyes either. And so now they say, okay, this one coming. Oh, the government saying they're not going to do this. Oh my goodness. We can't have these kinds of stuff starting again here in Liberia and spread all over. And spread all over. So we are going to talk to these people. So right now, as the way things stand, Costa and his people, if I was involved, I would say, you know what, call the people, and this is what I would suggest to them if I was involved. But I'm not. On my show, I'm not suggesting to them. I'm speaking out what's on my mind. They're not even listening to me anyway, but I would say it. If I was COP, I'll go back to the international community and say, look, our people don't want the date you have. In fact, there's a conflict right now. The 7-day advantage don't want that date. But guess what? The government going to tell them, do separation of state and church. You can't bring church business in government. we just saw the president of the Republic of Liberia preaching in a church. But right now, 7-day advantage, no, you can't do that to us. We can say that. But on a very serious note, okay, it's an issue. So instead of trying to provoke or make you look like a buku man, you go back to this international community and say, no. The way COP told the people that, you people write in your communique to tell the Liberian people that the protests were not happy. We're not going to say that. Do it again. And this time, tell them, our people don't want the date you're saying. We're not going to take it. You tell the government. We don't even have to protest. Wrap this thing around their head, around their neck. This, Mr. Equa representative, this is our petition. Could you please pass it on to the government? And this time we're putting a date on these things. We don't want an open-end discussion. You take this, Equa chairman, take this to President Weah. We're not going to protest because it seems like the government, because here's the thing here that perhaps is happening. Have you heard of scapegoat before? People not getting paid. I just want to be real here. I like for Dr. Weah to be successful. You know that. You know what I'm staying with Dr. Weah, and especially when it comes to the road business. I want him to be successful. He's my president. I don't want him to get out now. Let him serve his term. And if he can't make it, let's go back to the drawing table and get somebody else. Well, guess what? The issue, in the economic issue in Liberia right now, is not working well for us as Liberians. So you give this. You give your protest, you give your demand, whatever you want. Pass it. Let us don't do protest. Forget protest at this time. Since these people have intruded themselves into this process, they're not intervening. They're pretty much speaking with demand. Because for them to say this is the date they want, at this time, they're setting the benchmark. That's fine. They provided the security for us. They saved us from ourselves. That's fine. You know what my father would say? They mean the town people eating the leopard goat. That's why. Because leopard like goat business. So the leopard guy, oh, I line on the different goat. Every time you come back, there's no the other goat you line on too. There's a every time. Where's the goat? I tell they tie around the tree. Behold, the people finish eating it. Say, okay. The other thing, one on the other side of the town, the people tie. He said, okay, I'll come tonight. By the time you come back, the people finish eating the goat. He said, that the people town, the people got the power that way. Let them eat the goat. So people eating leopard goat. That's what the people doing to us. Because they truly believe and they know that. And we also know that most of the money that we ask for to help the country move, they supply. They give us things. The last time when we were in a big mess, they came and sacrificed. They not just money, they send people die in our country for us. So you can't just ignore them. But since they're going to thrust themselves into this issue at this much, where some of them are practicing democracy, where people have freedom to demonstrate, but yet they're going to come and say, yeah, you want to demonstrate, but these are the conditions, turn it right back to them. So we don't have to demonstrate. And we're not going to demonstrate anymore because we were hoping that the government will provide some sort of protection on a date we want to do. What's the purpose of demonstration if you're not going to effect change? What's the purpose of demonstration if you're not going to get the attention of the government that you're trying to demonstrate against? But at this time, if I were a member of COP, I would strongly argue in that group to say, forget about demonstration. And in fact, let me make this other statement. As Samson told from Town say it, COP has won. They don't have to get in the street. My goodness. They don't have to get in the street. Look, on Monday, businesses were closed. Every Liberian, except if those that were not able, that didn't have the ability to talk or to hear, they didn't hear about the protest. But the protests were all over the country. Everybody knew about it. The government were involved. They know the protests were there. So what's the point? The idea of protest is bringing attention, as Costa said, bringing attention to your issue. And the issue has been enumerated. The flashlight from up there. There was flashlight from Lima County, flashlight from Bon County, flashlight from Kidman County, flashlight from Mosera County. All the county, all 15 counties, shining a flashlight on the government. For goodness sakes, COP, you won. If you want a winner, but this is not about winning. This is about the people. And the issue for which you wanted to demonstrate, everybody know about it. The international community cannot come into this and say, oh, they show their blind eyes and say, we don't see it. Then they're not sincere either. So since there's a saying also in my country, did I say country? I mean town, total that country now. Town. They say, you know snail? That good thing people can eat. And you put in the palm of the good food, good snail. But the countrymen say your eyeball, they kolo, they can see the snail. But you can't put your hand there until you take stick and move the leaves. You see the snail, there, kolo, but you say, no, I'm not going to touch it. You take the stick and move the leaf before you pick it up. So since the international community are coming and say COP, because you're not a government, so fine. Take your petition. Have a meeting with them publicly. This is not something in negotiation. The ambassador, the U.S. ambassador who has taken the lead, which we appreciate, she also must take the lead. Take your petition. Since they're in between you and the government now, going to the government, negotiating, coming to you and negotiating, let them stay in the middle. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. And name whatever demand you're asking the government. Because all of these things that you guys are talking about, The economy is not well. The exchange rate is not well. Food prices are high. Women in the market are complaining on Facebook, on social media. Everything is there. Nothing I'm saying here that is secret. So you list all of those things. And you don't have to get in the street to be successful. You're already successful anyway. Because this protest has been all over the world. People have interviewed Costa. International media have interviewed Costa. They knew the protest was happening. Turn this white paper, put your demand on it, give it to the international community. Let them be the conduit then. They will have, once you give it to them, the government will have to respond to you through them. Because these people don't want to be machine either. But if you say, we don't like this date, we want the other date, then they're still in the same process of fomenting issues that perhaps might not be conducive for us. So since the international community can't sleep at night because of us, we appreciate that. Midnight negotiator, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Don't call the intrusion, call the intervention. We appreciate that. Thank you. Because some of them have sacrificed. Some country children die in Liberia trying to save us. Truly. And we appreciate that. But at this point, if United States of America ambassador would say, the government, you can't have protests on this date, and they want to select dates for us, that's okay. Town people eating leopard goat. Got it, they own the goat. But a leopard has its own goat. A leopard able to produce its own goat. A leopard able to pull goat from this side to, you think when the leopard will care for town, when town people said, he said, don't touch that goat. That my goat. You touch it, you must say, that bamboo will devour cola. But we can't say bamboo. When it comes to international community in Liberia, there ain't no bamboo to devour no cola. Even monkeys can't devour the cola because they will eat our cola. They're in control. But on a very serious note, if I was involved in a COP, we're not going to get back in the street because the street issue has already been resolved. Has already been resolved. We won, I would say, if I was part of them. What was the purpose? Is to generate as much interest in your cause as possible. And you have done that. In the last 2-3 weeks, every one of us that are on the Liberian social media, that's all we talk about. The international BBC, they talk about it. So the issue, the interest in this protest have already gone over the roof. But since these people, these are the same people the government depend on. In the last 2 days, in the last 24 hours, I have seen Eugene Nambe on 2 radio stations, a TV station, explaining. These are people that never use a venture or anything. Only Eugene Falcon used to talk. But within the last 24 hours, Eugene Nambe, I've seen him twice explaining. So how much more do you want to go? There's another parable from Totan. The way you carry your hand or with your collar, you don't come down high like that with power. You conserve some of the power. So at least, if anything, if you see the piece of steak sticking there, you'll be able to have enough time to pull your hand back. That's just common sense. So to the COP, I think if you want to say winner or loser, I think at this time you're winning and you have won. Your issue is up there. These same people are coming to you, who America, United States of America ambassador is heading. She's in charge. Take this white piece of paper, put your demand on it, say, here are our demand. We will talk to our people. We were not going to get in the street anymore. But these are the reasons why we were going to get in the street. And since you have taken upon yourself to help us out in our interest, so that none of our brothers and sisters can get hurt, nor do we want the police to get hurt either, because people can be throwing rock and the police can get hurt too. So to avoid all of that, please take this to the government. And we will expect some sort of response within the next 4 or 5 days, if you don't mind. And let's see what the international community will say. Are they going to come back and say, no, we're not telling you, you're going to protest, you're going to do that, but we're not be, we're demand that between you and the government. They can't say that. They won't say that. I don't think so. But if you do that, the international community themselves, they also have a huge interest, because Liberia is not the only place they have people. And if things goes bad in Liberia, that's also weakening their position in other areas. And so they will want their strength to be shown in Liberia as negotiators, as people who are there for peace, so that they will be able to carry on that same function in other countries. And so they're not going to let because of Dr. Weah and his people inability to function, to move the country to a next level. They're not going to let that help distract them. You give it to them, they'll pass it on. And just give them time. Now, you're Liberian. Most of you are not even 40-year-old yet. So if the international community come back and say, okay, you'll give us 10 years. Let's just say most of you, 36, 37, 10 years, you'll be what? 46, 47? You still got time. You still got energy to demonstrate. No, but a very serious note. I'm just trying to say that this is not to be rushed. This is not to be rushed. Because you guys have put yourself in a position of trust. Of trust. Liberians, many Liberians now trust here. You people are acting just like opposition right now. Of course, you're not opposition. You're speaking for everybody, sedition, everybody else. But you're in a position of trust. And the government, to be honest with you, this government has no legs when it comes to trust. So by you doing that, if Dr. Weah really want to move this country forward, people like Samuel Tua will be asked to take another position, take a viceroy position, and bring somebody else that will be able to manage the economy through the finance ministry and move this country forward. Samuel Tua, I'm not saying that he's incapable of doing X, Y, and Z as far as education is concerned, but what can we show right now? Besides international community giving you money to do certain things, we're not even collecting money from our own people because our people don't trust here. People going to the bank taking their money out because they don't want to give their money to the bank because they don't trust here. It's the trust issue that is affecting the government. It's not necessarily corruption. Every government since 1900 have always been corrupt. But this government has not been able to manage the corrupt behavior. They're trying to, for some reason, trying to flaunt that. And that's what, and I say, I will go into this here on Friday. To say, you see here, Kolo, what you do about it? Nothing. They tell you to shut up. That's how they started the government, by putting your finger to their mouth. Whatever we do here, don't say nothing. In Liberia, in this time, you're not serious. And so that's my suggestion to the COP. Of course, they don't know me. They're not going to take my suggestion anyway. So, but I'm allowed to do that because that's my platform. I can do that. I'm not their member. They don't even know me. I wish some of them know me. I wish Dr. Weah then said know me too. But anyway, folks, this is Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm going to go ahead and take question on this good day, New Year Day, so we can take some questions. But before I do that, let me praise my God a little bit more. Samson to let me praise God, and I'll come back for your question. Those of you, if you have questions, I will take your question. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Happy New Year to all of you, because I'm rushing myself here. Oh, no wonder why they were calling me. I'm rushing myself here because I'm supposed to be a DJ. That was almost an hour ago. Somebody did. Samson. I'm talking about Liberia. I was DJ. I would be DJ later on. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Let me play this music quickly, and then I will take your questions. Folks, let me just, before I go open the line here, let me just tell you one story here, because there are people over here that have been writing a lot of stuff here. But let me tell you one story. There was a guy in Liberia, I finished forgetting his name, David Livingstone. I think I finished forgetting his name. But anyway, this guy, Barrow man, and he used to hang with the national team as well. Huge guy, tall guy. But when the ball finished dressing, football dressing, you think, say, the man here today, he will kill us. He can't even kick a lamb. But every time Barrow ready to play, he all dress up. And then when the foreigner comes to play Barrow, when they see him running around the field, exercising on the sideline, he's scared. I think some of the Barrow players, some other player they know, I think his name was Livingstone. David Livingstone, something, man. Tall guy. But he couldn't keep the line. But the point here is this. The point that I'm trying to make is this. There are those in this social media making issues, speaking about issues that they have no clue on. But they believe that when they're talking for the president, and then some people are supposed to be scared. Far from it. Because here's the thing about frightening. If you say something that has some credibilities in it, people will take you serious, and if it generates fear in them, so be it. But if you talk about something that you're so ridiculous that I can poke a hole in it, drive an elephant through it, then you want me to be scared of you? Please, what's the song? Happy New Year to all of you, folks. We're having a good time here this afternoon. I want to thank all of you, those of you that are calling this all the way from Spain. Happy New Year to you as well.
I'm
Okay, folks, Samson Tour, Liberian Public Radio, give me a call. If you want to make a comment, give me a call, 916-533-2048. Let me put it up. Let me put that up quickly. What happened? Okay, give me a call. Give me a call. Anyway, let me check this out. What happened? My stuff went dead on me or what? Give me a call. Give me a call. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Bluetooth is dead. Oh, it's now hooked up. It's dead. If it's not connecting, we have another means here. We have another means here. Okay, so Bluetooth is there. All right, okay. Give me a call, 916. That's my number over there. If you have anything this wonderful, wonderful New Year Eve. Remember now, I have to go do DJ, folks. So if not, let me know so I can get out as soon as possible. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Give me a call. Give me a call. Let's see how far we go with this. Because I'm going to be... Folks, everything that I'm saying here, it's not like I'm saying what I say should be the Holy Grail. No, far from it, far from it, far from it. But we just want you to... Okay? Give me a call. Samson to Liberian Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What's on your mind, sir? Happy holiday anyway.
Happy holiday and happy New Year.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
Thank you for the analysis debate. That was very, very good.
Thank you.
You know, one day you were talking about why this government has a problem. One of the reasons I see that this government has a problem is from the party. Sometimes I wonder whether they did political education for their partisans, because everybody in CDC is in a fighting mood, even the chairman. There is a difference between fighting for power and managing power. It seems that CDC has not transitioned from fighting for power to managing power. Let me give you an example. People from Unity Party spent 12 years in power in Liberia, and CDC came and defeated them. Mr. So, whatever those people are saying, they are crying. CDC doesn't have to go to them in a quarter to go fight them there. They are done already. CDC doesn't need to prove anything to them. But CDC officials are always fighting. They say anything, they are fighting in kind. They are responding in kind. The way President Weah is patient in that country, if the party chairman of CDC or Representative Gray, if they were patient in that way, they would be making progress. Sometimes I wonder whether they want to, they need to win new members, whether they want to win new members for the party. Because if you're always in a party move, you push people away. One of the things is President Weah needs someone or people around him that will tell him the truth. He should not encircle himself with yes, sir. He needs someone to tell him the truth, to say, Mr. President, this one can't be done this way. These are the reasons why it can't be done this way. Mr. President, you can't say that. You can't do that. When you have people like that around you, you make progress. So the president needs to do a reshuffle. You can't always have the same people with you all the time. It means you are doing something that is not giving you different results, but you continue to do it the same way. One of the persons that people in CDC and in the government need to advise is the city mayor. That boy is sitting here for a city 1 million, with 1 million people, the capital city of that country. He in the street all the time in fighting mood. What kind of city want to give help to that city if they see him fighting move all the time like that? But thank you for the analysis. CDC, you know, someone said here that even those of you who didn't vote for me, I would be your president too. President, we are in seriously, people should know that even those that didn't vote for them, they are the leaders of that country. President, we are in seriously are the leaders of that country. They should stop fighting. They should leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your point. Well taken. Again, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. Give me a call, 916-533-2048. And if you call and I'm not picking up your call, that means someone else is on there. In the meantime, let me continue with this music. Okay? First, don't disrespect me. Give me a call. Give me a call.
Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect because you see me in papa. Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect because I will on donga. We not build it, but we can make it happen. We not millionaire, but we can keep it popping. We not build it.
Samson told Liberian Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Morris. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Thank you. Happy New Year, Mr. Murray. Thank you for joining us. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I've been following you, and I think you passed the test of credibility. It's one of the things I look at.
let me ask you. You know, it's New Year now. Let me ask you this: though. If I didn't pass your test of credibility, you think I would stop me from eating my gazelle, my man?
Well, I mean, you're quite welcome to eat your cassava and your potato cane and all of that.
No, I just thought I'd put some fun. Go ahead, my brother. But thank you for your contribution. We appreciate it. Go ahead.
So I follow you along the way, and I think you have been objective throughout your argument and presentations. However, at the end, you stated that there was a victory with COP, and then you went on to say that the COP now needs to take the argument and put it in the hands of the international community so that the international community can go ahead and fulfill whatever the mandate or whatever that the COP are requiring of the government.
Hold on.
Okay.
Before you finish, because if you don't get it, the point that I'm making, then maybe your response might be a little bit off mark. What I said was that the government, the COP, yes, I said they won. As far as I'm concerned, if you're going to bring winner and loser, and the reason why I said they won, because the essence of demonstration is to call attention to your issues. And at this point, without even getting in the street, the attention has already been called upon, and the attention it has generated a huge amount of international and local attention already. So in that respect, they won. Now, in terms of what I'm suggesting, if I were a member of them, I would argue that we turn our petition to the international community that are now considered to be the mediator between the COP and the government. Give their petition to them and let them take it to the government with your demand and give them a specific time for a reply to come back. That's what I'm saying. Now, go ahead.
Yeah, I quite get you and follow you logically with that. So here's the thing now. The COP, which is a euphemism for the Liberian people, and the COP, from my perspective, at this point now they are one. So if Henry Costa, who's the leader of the COP now, how does Henry Costa go about making the case that I'm taking this stuff from me now to the international community, and then the international community is going to go ahead and do what you guys have put your trust in me to do? How does Henry Costa now? Is he going to use his platform to kind of educate the citizens of Liberia? Now we have reached at this junction. It is in the hands of the international community. They will do a better job at communicating our truth to the government to see a fruitful outcome. Now, how does Henry Costa go about doing that? Can you please help me with that?
Yeah, good question. Good question. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity as well to expand on my suggestion or my point that I'm trying to make. Yeah, good question. Now, the issue with Henry Custer now saying, well, this thing is not in my, no, far from it, far from it. The petition that is going to be written is going to be written by COP, who are now talking for the voiceless folks among us. Now, by giving it to the international community, they're not giving it to the international community to implement whatever their demand is. They are giving it to the international community to pass on to the government, because the international community, remember now, they have put themselves in the middle between the government and the COP by negotiating about not demonstrating on Monday, about finding another venue, about finding another time to demonstrate. So they're heavily involved. Okay? So my point is, now that these folks are involved, they're not there to tell the government what to do, tell the government not to do this or do that. They're just saying to the government and the COP that we have put too much time and money into this peace, and we want you guys to maintain the peace. Now, that's a good point. And I'm suggesting to the COP, if these people are going to say that, which is good, give them, instead of, because the reason of COP going to demonstrate, they said they want to demonstrate so that they would pass their grievances to the government. But instead of doing that now, since these people are in between, give them your petition to give to the government. It's still going to do the same thing. The government is the one that's going to implement if they want to. Now, the government, if you give COP, the international community, you're giving them the time for them to come back with your reply. You see what I'm saying?
So I follow you with that. And there's this, you touch on it, but not quite clearly. Okay. At this point right now, like I said, at this point, and I think you and I are on the same page at this point.
But what would be your what would be your suggestion? What would be your point? What do you want? What do you want to see happen here?
Well, I mean, it's a critical issue right now. Whereas the momentum for the protest, because the protest for the Liberian people is a public rebuke for the government.
That's right.
Like, publicly come out and rebuke the government for not managing the affairs of the nation.
That's right.
I mean, quite frankly, simply put. So the fact that they want to come out it is in their full right to want to come out to display that. And so taking it out of their hands is a little problematic in the sense that they really have a desire to want to do this. So I think they need to do that to show the world that they are not happy. And so putting it in the hands of bureaucrats to try to communicate their demands, it's a little shaky. Okay. You know what I mean? It's kind of a little shaky.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your point because what you're suggesting, I got your point because what you're suggesting is that COP, now I'm telling the whole country that we're speaking on your behalf and we're seeking your interest,
right.
And now they're going to take that interest and give it to somebody else to seek their interest through them to seek their interest of the government.
Right.
Then for you, it's like, yeah, right.
Right.
But the point that I'm making is this. The COP want a date to carry out the process. The government don't want the date that the COP want. So the mediator, who is the international community, they're saying, okay, government don't want it this, COP don't want it this, we want you to take this date. Government, you let the people, with the COP, you should take this date. Government, you allow the people to carry on the process at the Capitol building. So those are the two suggestions they're giving to each side. So I'm saying, because if they do that and the government say, well, we don't have means to provide protection or security, then what? So to avoid all that, for me, because the way I look at the situation, you know, Monrovia was all businesses in Monrovia Monday was closed. You know that, right? Okay. Monrovia was empty on Monday. So their cause has been the attention of the country has been focused on their cause. That's one point. The international community, I mean the international press, also focus on their cause as well. So if it is your intent to call attention to your cause, then I think they have succeeded in that respect. Now,
right, I do agree with you too.
Okay.
I mean, like an analogy, every analogy is for a part at some level. So I want to use the analogy as an abused woman who is being abused, and now she wants to come out and let the world know that she's been abused. However, you have a lawyer on hand saying, you know what, let me plead a case for you. So she's saying, on the other hand, I want to publicly state that this is how I've been treated at home. So give me the opportunity to display that. But the lawyer, on the other hand, say I can fine tune all of that emotions and communicate it to the world in such a way that it will make sense, rather than you coming out and publicly displaying that you have been abused in this manner. So the abused woman, I would say the Liberian citizen, the lawyer, on the other hand, would be the intermediator, i.e. the international community, trying to communicate the concerns and the affairs of the Liberian people. So, either way, like I said, it's fine, for the international community to communicate the affairs of the Liberian people. On the other hand, the Liberian people themselves also want to have the right to display that they are not happy. So either way is fine. But for me now, as an objective observer, I think I would say, you know what, let the Liberian people go out and vent out their frustration. If that really, really makes them happy, or letting the whole world know that they are frustrated without any kind of provocation, let them do that. So, I take your point. Let the international community communicate their demands and things like that. I agree with you, but on the other hand, too, I also see a logical reason why they should go out there and also want to demonstrate to the world that they are not happy.
I agree. I agree.
Autonomous truth. Autonomous truth is like, you have the heads and the tail. You have a quarter. The heads on one side and the tail's a tail on the other side. Both sides have, truth.
Right.
So you can be logical.
It's a dedicated issue here for all of us. It's very, very, very much there's some things that I guess we're all learning. This is a teachable moment for all of us as Liberian, because we have not faced with these type of stuff before. So it's a teachable moment for all of us, my brother. But thanks for your contribution. I really enjoy engaging you. Because these are kinds of information that or engagement that I truly enjoy. But thank you very much for your contribution.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your sound and logical analysis too.
Thank you.
And I look forward to listening to you most often. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Give me a call here, 916-533-2048. Let me go ahead. This song that I'm continuing to play, you can find out on YouTube and put right name on there, because he put it up and he get credit for that. So, but let me play again. Somebody wrote here. He said, "Glory, Jesus will surely come back," and exactly that's what it is. Okay, so give me a call here. I'm going to be here for another 5 minutes or so, and I'll be out of here. Let me do this here, folks. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Happy New Year to all of you. Let's do it again. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, the CEO, the COP, the CEO of
Please, Senator. This is 2020. Don't take me there. I'm not a COP.
I think you're a COP spy.
No, I do not believe all of those people, the COP, the GOL, all of them, they are not serving our country right. Look, I don't think we have spoken today, or maybe we did. I will say Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, I must say thank you so much for your high sense of responsibility, commitment. As a big brother that have really kept us in place, even when we scream at you. I said that yesterday, and I must repeat it. Even though for the most part you are a liberal guy, and sometimes we do not agree. That's the only thing. But beyond that, you're such a Humble means that, people, anybody can work with and you respect people regardless of their age, but I value them as a human being. Look, let's get to the issue here this evening. I just posted a comment there. COP is most likely done. I see that the international community initially pivoted in their direction, but their ineptitude to exhibit a high sense of responsibility has drained. COP leaders using the exact words has induced their credibility. The video he made to request most likely restitution is ludicrous. Look, something to
Mr. Mr. So, let me interrupt. No. You can't come on here with your on this holiday and come on here with your conservative idea on my liberal show, and then these. I mean, I can't just let you roll me over here and bring out these conservative ideas. Yeah, because the gentleman seem to be of a liberal mind.
Are you trying to be biased on this network now, Mr. Troll?
No, go ahead. Finish. Okay, give us your conservative view. Give us your conservative view.
Don't take me in there.
Okay.
All of us not going to be in your wagons with Henry Costa. Look, Henry Costa, he has a cost, a genuine cost. But if you are fighting for a cost, it comes with responsibility. As long as you decided to take that touchline, believe me or not, you're going to be dealing with people, and they're going to judge you by your actions or what you're going to be doing. But I think the very leadership of the COE, they are behaving like the very government. It has created an apprehension in the international community. How do you think this whole thing came about abruptly when all was said? It's because these people decided to use the words of the international community to hold them as a stay witness. It doesn't work like that. When you're dealing with diplomats, there is a special tone, there is a special language. See that video. Mr. Lausenberg, using Pardon, has come out and are you saying they should pay restitution? Is that what
Mr. So, let me address that. Let me address that. What I think we're all of us are speculating here because I'm not too sure. But let me just address that here very quickly. I hope, and you being in a leadership before, you led Boston District, which has many members here in the diaspora, and you're not a slash either. You've been in a leadership position for a very long time. You know what it is. Now, these people, the COP came out and told everybody that we're going to demonstrate. In the process, the international community came out. Before that, COP was responsible for organization, the logistic, and everything else. They were responsible. So COP and its member went out. Listen, let me finish. Went out and bought food to feed their people. That we can agree. Now, the international community came and said, no, you're not going to do it this day. What then do they do with the food? They went out and gave the food out. Then you expect, and listen, let me finish. They gave the food to orphanage or whatever the people give the food to.
So that's the thing, very much.
Let me finish. You see, that's what I say with your conservative ideas, you're not going to be successful here. Let me finish. So the COP, they have the right to say, look, we respect you. You have injected yourself into this process. We were in the process of going out to feed. Who's going to be responsible for this? Since you asking us to postpone this and we have done that, we want you to pay back our money. Is that wrong? No, it's not. Now, let's go a little bit. Let's go a little bit deeper than that. Costa and his people, they are the leadership. What do you think will happen with their ranking file if they didn't even have the ball to ask these people to pay their money? They're going to say, you can't even ask the people to pay back our food. Who's going to pay back our food? But since they have requested, and these people say, no, we don't have the money, they can go back to the ranking file and say, we did. But they said they don't have the money. So next time when they come back to these people, they will know that if anything go wrong, they will have the balls to stand for themselves and stand for the people. It's simple as that, Mr. So I don't agree with you on that one. But of course, I don't usually agree with you on anything because your conservative ideas it seem not to win a day anyway.
Look, let me tell you. What they are saying is a complete nonsense. You are not going to pay, nor the government of Liberia are going to pay. And that's what I'm saying. These are statements that sound so immature that you don't even know what you are doing. So what was the discussion? What led to the abortion of this? What was the length of discussion, the COP and the government? Why they didn't realize, put into play all of these plans before they even could come back?
Mr. So, your argument. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Listen to me. First of all, look, demonstration is not
folks,
limited.
this is Mr. Alfonso Zionso, who is the CEO who is the CEO of LPR arguing. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, listen, demonstration is not limited, all right? Because these folks fail to organize themselves as a structure to be more forceful. They got a good argument of the ineptness of government, their inability to address some of these issues. But they did not also make the finishing line. How many of them are involved in decision making with this COP here?
Mr. So, I really don't understand. I really don't understand your argument. I don't understand your argument. You're killing me. Okay, go ahead.
You don't want to understand.
Okay, go ahead.
When you want to feel pressure on the government, they should expand their activity, accelerate. Monrovia is just not need of the Republic of Liberia in as much as the seat of government. This is why other country opposition, when they are doing demonstrations, they become more strategic. They look for more populated areas and carry their message. So it becomes what? Simultaneous. And that was thing that they will not be able to do it, and that will see the forcefulness of the international community. So everything they were done, they were just done in Monrovia. Where it becomes a Nimba, where it becomes a Rofa, other places that are so populated, why they didn't create committees to see their forcefulness? Why, if they knew that they needed security, why did they not create that sort of forum with the international community to make sure all of these things were done? Are you saying this protest is a one-day protest? It wasn't a one-day protest.
Are you finished? Are you finished?
We have to think beyond the line.
Are you finished? Now, first thing. No, don't leave now. First thing you need to do is.
Are you saying what you them okay for? Are you serious?
No. First thing you need to first thing you need to
right on that today.
First thing we want to do is to give credit to these people. First thing, we've been around here. They started talking about December 30th protest for a very long time. Now, no, you see,
them the credit. I give
you see, that's one thing about you. That's one thing about you. That's one thing about you. You conservative and Donald Trump. You don't like to let people talk. That's one thing about you, conservative.
That's what Donald Trump teaching people senses. These are the same behavior and tactics of the very CDC that is in power here today. Everything that they were doing, we give them free pass. Do you think Henry Costa is he conducting himself? That's why the international community turned their back. Come on, something.
No, Mr. So you can't say that. You cannot say that. You can't say that Henry Costa has not been able to conduct himself. I'm not here to defend Mr. Costa. Yes. Believe me.
He created insecurity into his cause.
In terms of what? How did he do that? How do you arrive with that conclusion? How did you come up with that conclusion?
Okay, yeah, how come on? Because they are videos. Their organization did a letter calling for the protest, which is a genuine protest.
Okay.
No, you cannot be in two places at the same time.
Mr. So, please stay, Mr. So, you can't say Mr. Costa. Mr. Costa is a chairman
do you agree with Costa that he playing to the soundbite of his supporters that they were going to forcibly bring the president?
Oh, Mr. So that's such a government line that I'm refusing to accept. Now let me tell you this. No, it is. I call it. But let me make my point. I think we're going to be honest here because your conservative view cannot win over the liberal view. That I will not allow you to do that. Here's the point that I'm making. The Constitution of the Republic of Liberia allows people to gather, number one. Second, the Constitution of Liberia allow you to assemble peacefully. Number two,
Correct.
the Constitution does not state if you're going to assemble what you need to say and who need to say it. That's not part of the Constitution. If we agree with that. The third thing I want to make here is this. The COP is an institution. In the COP, they have individuals, and those individuals, COP as an institution has the constitutional right as well. But let me finish. You see, you're not gonna let me finish. You're not gonna, because you know I got your conservative view on the bike right now, running away from me. So you're gonna no, but give me chance. But let me Mr. So, listen. Let me make my point. If you let me make my point, you will understand. Now, third, as I was saying, the individual within the COP has the constitutional right to state what they want to say. Let me defeat your point, and then we can move on. The letter that was written to the Justice Ministry came from the COP as an entity. And in that letter, there's nowhere in that letter that called for the step down of the president. The individual member of the COP can say whatever they want to say. But that does not, of course, is the individual member. Anybody.
What is Costa's role in the COP?
He's a chairperson.
It's a chairperson.
If you want it,
what message is he sending?
Mr.
Is he sending to his supporter?
That's Mr. So. You can't. You can't do that. You must be able to have the ability to compartmentalize things. First of all. And that's why COP continue to eat these people lunch, because in the letter that came from the COP. Initially, she was eating their dinner, but now apparently they are. No, listen, something though, and you are glad he came out to that he realized there is no way. Look at some of the words that they were using, and he is the chairman. That created an apprehensions about the institution, their inability to even wage an effective protest, and their ability to even have absolute control over the protesters. In your lifetime, have you seen a protest over thousands of people where nobody got hurt? Have you seen it before? And you're not
the substance of what. I would always like to see peaceful protest.
Okay, but what I'm telling you now, the reason I brought that up, to take you to the next level of COP. I'm not here to defend it. I'm just being truthful. COP, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. So, and this is LPR. Both of us work for LPR. In fact, I work for you anyhow, and you have fired me so many times. But that's not the point here tonight.
No. You don't work for me. You work for the institution.
You see, I just throw that. You see, exactly my point. That's it. No. Listen. I just threw that in there, so you, knowing who you are not going to accept it. I work for the institution. You also work for the institution. However, you having to be the CEO of the institution. So when you speak for the institution, you're speaking for the institution. But you as an individual who's having to be member of LPR, what do you mean?
I cannot devolve myself. If I'm making a statement, there is no way you are making a statement. It's a sincere statement. George Weah made when he said he came now as a president, when he is being considered president, when he was introduced as president, when Secret Service were protecting him as president. We frown on that. We talk on that. Look, I am telling you something too. I am telling you the soundbite that Mr. Costa introduced with this step down, we magnify and support us to receive wholeheartedly to the extent you were hearing hit word. That created a cloud into this whole process. That brings in the apprehensions of the understanding of the international community. Believe me or not, it is not only Liberian lives that are involved. You have foreign nations, citizens are also accredited into the capital, and they do have interest. You listen to their first statement, you read how 99% pivoted towards the directions of the COP.
in the twinkle of an eye, that Sunday, what happens? What went wrong? What was the dialogue? What was concluded between both parties at the end of the day to see that sort of bizarre twist?
Let me read something here quickly. The government gave Mr. So give money to Mr. Alfonso Zion So to talk on that.
Look, that's nonsense. That's a nonsense talk. These are people who are very limited.
Mr. So.
Who are very limited, and some of them also have a fish.
No, but I really appreciate you.
Into something. Then that's why it looks like.
Yeah,
when
but
government do it wrong, I say it. Look,
but you know very well I'm not gonna agree with you on this here at all, because I think the COP is.
Oh no, you don't have to agree. I'm trying to air my view as well.
I understand that.
I understand. The government does not have money to give me.
I know that one.
If they had money to give me, their populations would be done differently. That you know. So that person is okay to express.
The person turned the table today because you used to copy CDC spy.
Now I'm always being right. I'm always being point. And I'm telling you now. So why are some of the exhibitions? What were the T-shirts? What were at this point? I don't usually agree with you, Jim Fagon. But you cannot, as a leader of a group, you cannot continuously make yourself vulnerable to the point that you cannot argue yourself or begin to give excuses.
Mr. So on a very serious note, before I take a leave of you,
I want to do more of that into it. Some of the ridiculous statements to get us to be where we are. He started a very good cause, and that's what I said. The need to have a legal counsel. When you are doing these things, there are some things you need to have a spokesperson. You need to have some. That's not every time. Put yourself in a class of a high class where you will be seen as a serious contender, serious visit. That not every second you want to look. If he was mature, or if this COP was mature in proper relations, even if they wanted George Weah to step down for discussion purposes, other people are going to do their dirty work. It will not come from the leadership. That's not how you go about to do things.
Mr. So, I just don't agree with you at all. You know my position on this, George. We are step down business.
You don't have to agree. I'm just making my own
that's fine.
And my own understanding to it.
I understand that, but you know my position. I'm never in favor of that, because they don't. Those who were saying it, they don't have the.
He said, buy your government, give some money. These are people who
Mr. So, let's continue with that. Leave these people at home. The point that I'm making. The point that I'm making, Mr. So, the point that I want you to get from me is that I was never in favor of George Weah step down, because I think the Constitution does not allow that for that to happen. Unless
if that is the case, if that's the case, then that would have been the very first thing when Mr. Costa was pushing that as head of the institution. That sends a wrong message to his supporters, because at the end of the day, you would not have
Mr. You can't say that, because first of all, let's get this straight. You're not a member of COP, and you don't know the working inside working this. Let me finish.
Why do you think Charles Taylor is
why were you not? Let me. What you see? That's you coming. Here you go. Here we go. You conservatives, you and the Donald Trump group refuse to let people talk, because you want to make sure you drum out the ideas from the people, and that's not how we the liberal. We don't work like that. Let me finish my statement. Yeah.
Something.
Go ahead.
Why do you think Charles Taylor is held today in the head? Was that Charles Taylor himself physically carry out the executions and all of the damages in?
Why would you leave? Why would you're on the first floor? Out of a second, you want to leap from 36-story building. No, you're leaping too. Yeah, but it's too far. It's too far to be connected.
It's not far.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
He's the head of a group.
No, you can't. Even if you want to do that, not only was he head of the group, but he instigated most of the violence, and this is not the case here. Now, Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Or
Let's
because
go.
the violence did not occur.
No, you see,
you talk about it. You spoke
Mr.
about it.
So,
if you
let me trying to
why
enlighten you, Mr. So,
ANC Alexander Kume distance for them? It's because they were making some
because
you
asking me to speculate on Alexander Kume, and I don't want to do that. Let me just say what I know, what I do know. Now, the COP, let me let you know again. The COP is an institution. And if you were to go to court, on this issue, what are some of the things that your defense lawyer going to present at the witness evidence will be? Let me. You see. Now you know exactly what I'm going. So then,
here is the answer. Then you get to court if you think something was right. But this is the guy who was ridiculed at the Supreme Court of you bash people until you bash everybody that even pivoting towards you, you cuss and you talk to all of them. How do you think they can even do business with you?
Mr. So, you talk now. Let's.
I'm not gonna.
No, but just you have to have the ability to separate. You have to have the ability to separate. Henry Costa is the chairman of COP. We agree. You won't let me talk.
If there was an incident today, who you think going to represent the interest of COP? They're going to call you, or they're going to call the South group?
They're going to.
Henry Costa.
Okay.
Henry Costa is a leader. He will answer all questions, whether he knows about it or not.
Okay.
He will be, and he's the one that will answer all questions. Who you think the international community is dealing with
Mr.
now?
Mr. So, can I talk to you? I mean, will you allow me to say something, please? All right.
I gotta go. That means that you go.
Okay, I'll still okay.
You the liberal guys. The same way you raised George Weah as a country giant and all of the dishes are broken, you are trying to raise another unknown giant, and you don't want us to question their authenticity to what they are bringing to the table.
Because we liberal believe in freedom. Whereas you conservatives like to make sure people's freedom are limited, and we're not going to allow that.
Nelson Mandela, the 29 years that he stayed in jail, he must be restituted. That's what they are telling us.
You see, this is no. You see, those are two different things. The COP asking them to get paid because somebody stopped them from carrying out a specific function, which they have already spent money. The international community told them we don't want you to demonstrate on Monday.
You think UN stupid? You think UN going to give what? The money?
Even if they don't. You see, these are things that I'm talking about. The liberal value. Even if UN don't pay, they fight here. COP and their ranking file now believe.
If I fighting for a cause, what becomes of it?
No. You don't have to. You don't. The idea. COP leadership has the ball to ask UN to pay their money. UN said we don't have money. They can go back to their ranking file and say we did express that. And Mr. So, these are things leadership. Let me make another point here quickly. You can go if you want, but I mean you're still listening. But let me make this other point here very quickly. COP is an entity, folks. I'm not here to defend COP. I'm only being factual. And I'm being truthful. Okay. COP is an entity. We all know that. When they speak with one voice. Within the COP, they have members. And each of the members can say whatever they want to say as long as it is not violating the Constitution. Now, COP membership, their chairman has is, so you want to tell me Henry Costa, Root FM belong to COP? No. Root FM is not, it doesn't belong to COP. It's Costa business. So whatever he does on his own private time has nothing to do with COP. We are lucky to have him, according to COP, to have him to be the chairperson. And since the chairperson is utilizing his platform to spread the message of the COP, that's a plus. And they show you that. Because if COP were truly dominated by Henry Costa, with his belief of we are stepped down, That would have been part of the communique to the executive. But when they requested COP as COP, the entity, when they asked for protection to protest, there's nothing in that letter that said, Judge, we have stepped down. And that is the letter you're going to take to the bank. You're not going to take Henry Costa's statement or Hoop Sampson or whatever statement that comes out to say, Judge, we have stepped down. You're not going to take that to the bank because it means nothing until it is put in a communication. Okay? Now, the point of COP asking the international community to pay back their money, two things. It does two things. Number one, it shows that COP leadership got balls. The first thing. Second, it is to show that COP has the leadership ability to tell their ranking file to say, you give us money and we want to account for that. And in order for us to account for that money, those who are responsible for the food to be damaged, we go to them. But they said they don't want to pay. Now the ranking file, the next time you go to the ranking file for donation, they will know that you are truthful. This is all about trust, Mr. So that's the point that I'm making. Anyhow, folks,
look, your points are dead wrong.
Okay, all right.
Look, when you are a leader, you have to take a leadership role. Why do you think Ekamo targeted the NPRGK FM? Because it was a media outlet that they were using to propagate, to wage their propaganda and war against the Liberian people, the peacekeepers. All right? So, and I agree with you. If you read a letter, that's what I'm saying. These people, they need help. They need someone to help them down the road. When you are involved in the reparation cost, where the international community, because once you are involved, the probabilities of getting involved into negotiation, discussions is most like imminent. You can be a head of a group, and you start telling people, look, the people that help, they need to find someone with the know-how, proper relations to wage their war. It's not just all about talking. It's just not about mending words together and throwing it out there. There are people that look beyond the connotations of those words they use and the probability, the suspicions, the apprehensions that continue beyond those words. That's what the international community looks at. They had a good cause. They have the right to march. I agree with that 100%, and I took that position from day one. The hook that was placed on that peaceful march to say step down, and it was echoed loud and clear by Henry Costa on his network, sends a bad signal, it sends an apprehension into the heads of the international community, and that's what the government capitalized on lately to say, you know what, this guy here, he's telling people this is what he's going to do. Do you think the government going to allow them to march on to foreign ministry and the police will say that?
That idea was brought in by the justice minister, and that idea was defeated, soundly defeated by the negotiator themselves.
It was defeated. What becomes of it at the end of the day?
Well, because that's the negotiator themselves muddy the water. The negotiator themselves, the negotiator were not sincere in the first place.
Listen, I want you to play the video the day before that when he was called by the international community to clarify. Why do you think they called him?
They didn't call him about Judge, we have stepped down. They called him because of the statement he made about defending himself.
So what was the weight on that statement, you think?
Well, because they're saying to him, because it was depicting violence. It was depicting violence that I'm going to arm people to defend me.
So why are you in denial?
In denial what?
They did not question him. You listen to him. They did not question him from statement from his supporter. He was questioned based on the statement that was coming from him. And
yes. They question him because of him propagating violence by saying, "I'm going to purchase." Listen to me.
Do you agree with that?
What statement? Agree with who? The international community.
Do you agree that you were propagating violence by uttering those?
Yes.
Oh, so
yes.
How can you distinguish?
But I can stand in front of the executive mansion and say, George Weah should step down. That's not violent. That's not violent. By me asking the president to step down, I am going contrary to the Constitution, because the Constitution does not say that I should force him to come down. I can say it. And it doesn't mean he's going to come down. That's the two different things. As a liberal progressive, we have these things covered. You can stay as a person, as an individual. You can say these things, but as long they are not carried out violently, you can't have nothing to hold me.
Right? Before I take leave for you, it was a very nice conversation, and that's a good thing. We don't angles out of the angles of LPR. They have their view. They can defend their own positions, and I love how you can defend your position. But I can tell you, every Liberian, whether you are opposition, whether you are a government president, whatever, no one is exempted to be held responsible. Being in opposition does not give you the easy path that we can ask these tough questions. And if you make some silly comments, ridiculous comments, that we didn't have the opportunity, George Weah escaped the debate, and they said the debate wasn't good, so we never had the opportunity as to know his governance path. That's the same thing. We are minding people to be talking lousy now, and even if they are not doing it the right way, we are refusing to advise them. That's why it's happening. So each and every Liberian will be held accountable, including Mr. Costa. If he do it the right way, we say it. When he do it the wrong way, we must also say it. So to come tell the government of Liberia to pay his restitution is like almost telling Nelson Mandela 29 years ago, I stay in jail all the time. I say you pay me back before I can do so. So I'm going to sue
those two statements goes, and good night, Mr. So thank you very much. Those two statements goes hand in hand. Number one, to say George Weah should step down, it has nothing to do with anything. Anybody can say it.
They still have a room. They need to be
they're winning. The COP winning.
They need to have a legal counsel. Somebody needs to advise them along the way. There are some things that when you talk with the international
I do agree with you. I do agree with you, and I think
this is what the people say. This is what the people.
They're all learning. These are all teachable moments for everybody. We're all learning as we go on. Costa came into
it's not an experimental ground.
Mr. So you can't say that. You can't say that. Even the great United States, the people are still experimenting. The great United States, they're not done yet. So Liberia is not far from, no, Mr. So you see, you can't make these kinds of conservative view, and then you think you're gonna get away with it on my liberal show. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna let you get away with the kind of conservative view. Liberia is a learning ground. We are learning.
There's some good help. There are some good lawyers inside in the process before you come out.
No, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. And I think Custer has, and I played that video earlier, where he himself have recognized that he got into this thing for a different reason, but now he's turned to something else, and he can't get out. So what is
the reason?
I told you, perhaps you were not on my show the first time when I played the video.
He's building his political machinery.
Exactly. But when he got in, I believe he wants to be president. He wants to be president. But here's the point.
So he needs to start doing it the right way. That's
Mr. So he's learning. We have to give him credit for even standing up and speaking his mind. We have to give him credit for that. He's learning. Let's give him that. He's learning and he's moving forward. We can't condemn the person because he's in the process of trying to put certain things together. We have to appreciate that. We have to appreciate all of us as Liberians. You can't just condemn somebody because the thing he's going to, the pressure he's under right now, that's so much of a pressure for a young man. He's only 36 years old. He still have lots of time to go. So, Mr. So, with your conservative idea, they're not going to.
That's not an excuse. There is no easy way for liberation. There is no pain. There is no gain when you want to gain freedom.
Mr. So, as long Costa but he has allowed himself to be at the forefront of this thing. So, if you believe in some of the things he's doing, You have the right to criticize him, but you must show some.
That's what I'm doing.
I understand
That's
that,
what
but
I'm
you
doing.
should have
You
a
are
room.
unwilling to criticize- you are
I'm willing to criticize him. I have criticized him. I'm not comfortable with some of the antics, but I'm not going to condemn him for certain things that I believe what he did is not wrong. You believe that what he did is wrong.
What I'm saying is not a condemnation. What I'm saying is not a condemnation. I'm just telling you the fact, why it should be and how it's supposed to be.
It's not a fact. It's not a fact. What you're saying, as long as I don't agree with it, it doesn't make it a fact. As simple as that. So I think we're going to be on it.
It's a very good cause. They have the ability to recover it. They have the ability to put their acts together. To see that they can have a good sense of directions, how to communicate, how to talk, and how to deal with the foreign nations. You can, and it's good that he has realized that there's nothing that you can do to get through, because at the end of the day, these are the people that are preserve the peace and stability in the country.
Thank you.
So at least you are respectful to them. That was a very good thing. But overall, if COP does not have a legal counsel, it is time that they have a legal counsel and find someone that will speak, that will be an official spokesperson of the COP. They're behaving the same way the government behaving. Jefferson could you speak today? You just are going to speak today.
But nobody, COP only have one. COP only have one spokesperson, and that person is Costa. Nobody else, except if he's not there. When More Ali speaking, he's speaking on the condition as a co-chair. When Dallas didn't speaking, he's speaking as an advisor. These people, they all have responsibilities.
You know why the Western don't have information minister? They have one person, is the presidential press secretary. These are some of the conflict of interest.
Mr. Soul, COP is not a government. COP is not a government. It's an organization. It's an entity. So they have the right to form.
COP leader has a political.
No, Mr.
Leader has a political ambition.
Yeah, but those are speculation. You don't know that. Those are speculation, Mr. Soul. Those are conservative speculation.
Speculation is all about, hey, we never know. You never know whether in the next 1 year, 2 years, COP can become a political party.
So even if until it happens, that's a speculation. Right. Until it happens, let us not go there because it hasn't happened yet. So
the Liberal Progressive, Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. So thank you very much. Happy New Year, folks.
We always have that dissenting views on this network here. So some of these people who don't know that together, we have to make these people to learn, because there are some people who still not help to this country. And we can't allow their insult what it thinks is right. That's not. But thank you so much. Great discussion. I'm following up too.
Thank you, folks. Again, Samson.
So when I get my own money from the government, then we have to build we'll build a network.
Folks, Samson Tola Pablito, that's the voice of Mr. Alfonso Zionso, who is the CEO of LPR, and you can see here we are now all on one page, and that's good for our institution, because we are allowed to speak our mind freely. There's nothing here to stop me from speaking my mind. I'm not taking side, is he taking side, but he found reason, and he believes in certain things that he want to criticize about the COP. And I, on the other hand, don't think that it is right at this moment to criticize COP, especially with what he's talking about, because COP has now identified themselves as a group, and they are speaking with one voice. However, within that group, my argument is that within that group, they have individuals. And it happens. I don't know why we just don't want to compartmentalize these things. These things are separate. The chairman of the COP is Henry Costa. Henry Costa. Now let's look at him. Do like a funnel. You know the funnel they can pour oil in to put a bottle? Okay. Let's start from there. The bottom part here, where they put the oil, that's COP. Then the small part in the middle, that's Henry Costa. Then the part where the oil go into the bottle, that's Root FM. Okay? They might be connected. But when it comes to the functioning, the big part hold the oil. The small part let the oil go through with certain force and certain momentum, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, the point that I'm making, They're separated. Henry Costa is a chairman of COP up here, where the oil holding the funnel holding the oil. Then down here, Henry Costa is an individual. Then here, Henry Costa is a Roof FM operator. So the point I'm making is this. Henry Costa can stand in front of the executive marshal and say, I want George Weah to calm down. That does not make it so. Let's get that right. And to prove you all that you guys are being completely ridiculous about these ideas, that Henry Costa should and the COP should be held responsible for the view of an individual member. That's ridiculous. So when they wrote the Justice Ministry and said we want protection. We want protection because we want to demonstrate. And the Justice Ministry, the Justice Minister himself just did exactly what Mr. So did here. Because Costa has been calling for the step down on his show so much that when the letter came, he put E from his mind straight to the letter that COP said George Weah must step down. And then he started quoting the Constitution. Having completely reading that, after reading that thing, he thought they said that George Weah must step down because it's in his mind. So when they have that meeting, when they have that negotiation the first time, he said, oh, that's not what you guys are. Okay, if that's not what you're saying, then we'll give you protection. You see that? Because he was able to quickly realize that COP ideas, COP position is not for George Weah to step down. COP position is to demonstrate, assemble peacefully, and that's what was in the letter. That is the letter. If anything, you have to take to the Supreme Court. You can't take Henry Costa's statement to the Supreme Court. Because anybody can be member of COP. So what's about somebody, John Brown, who is member of COP, and come out in public and say, "Oh," and I'm just being ridiculous here. I'm not promoting violence whatsoever, but I have to say it. And come out and say, "Guess what? COP going to burn down Morea tomorrow." Is that a true statement that you're going to hold COP against? Because setting. This, folks, this is another guy, and this conversation now is going to be interesting now. Hello, President Dubba. What's on your mind? Samson, to Happy New Year. What's on your mind?
Happy New Year, Mr. Samson, and thank you for the show.
Thank you.
I've listened to the conversation between you and Mr. So, Mr. So and Mr. So they're confused a little bit. Yeah, I listened to the conversation, and then I listened to you explaining about anybody the mayor has the right to stay president, we have to step down. That's right. Anybody can get in the street and say, "Oh, I want president, we have to step down." But when you have the chairman of that particular group threatening to drag the president like market dog, then it becomes a problem. You cannot be writing something else and then saying something else. You contradict yourself. They wrote a simple letter telling the government, the justice minister, to give them protection so they can protest. That's good, okay. At the same time the letter's going, then you have the chairman of that particular group is making terroristic threats. You want to drag the president. You want to shoot people. It becomes an issue, Mr. So. I'm going to see you to the border room, Mr. So. You know that one. If something comes to the border room and I'm inflaming those things, people are going to question me. There was this man. They want to know my mind, the state of my whatever thing that I'm doing. So it is the same thing. There is no way, even in this country that we say we're living in a democratic war or whatever, that you're going to write the police here and say you want to go and protest peacefully, and then the next day the police see you on the radio or hear you on the radio or see you on the TV saying you're going to drag the governor in the streets. You're going to pay for questioning.
Okay.
And I don't think they're even going to give you that privilege. So, of course,
okay.
I do.
Okay.
You wrote your letter stay there and let the government respond to your letter.
And this is
the international community saw.
And this is a reply.
I want to tell him to come and justify.
No. They didn't call. No. Don't spin it here on my show. They didn't call him to justify his comment about George Weah step down. They called him.
No. They called him because he made some comments about. Those are the comments that we are talking about. Like he said, people who try to stone him. If he would tell people not to beat the people, but to shoot the people with knives, and when they die, he coming on the bodies, and he's gonna have a live podcast.
And when they call him, they said those type of comment has a the possibility of
especially coming from the
no, you can't do that. You cannot do that because when he's listen. No. I don't agree with you guys. I'm not going to count on this one. I'm not going to take back seat on this one. The chairman, when he, for example, if he comes out and says, as a chairman of COP, I and the COP want George Weah to step down, you can hold him for that. Because he has already announced to say as a chairman. The second thing is, hold on, let me finish. The second thing is, they wrote all these months he's been saying George Weah step down. Then they wrote a letter, COP wrote a letter. And in the letter, there's nothing in there to mention anything about George Weah step down.
There is nothing in the letter to say George Weah step down. But the same man who is the chairman is making all these things on social media.
But what position? You see, you can't do that. You can't say because he.
No, Mr. So what you cannot do. I'm the CEO of the border room. When my entity send another letter explaining different things, then I'm on the beat on the show talking about different things. You're going to say, "What? Come on now, you got something different here on the table."
You know, there's certain things in life where people say, "Let him break his own neck." Have you never heard that before?
I heard
and
that,
there's a saying. No, I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing. There's thing also in our dialect where they say your eyeball can see the snail, but you still use stick to move the leaf to pick up the snail. The person, you can see that the person is saying something until they connect themselves. Truly, as a chairperson, if he comes out on his show and say, we, COP, and I'm speaking right now as a chairman for this organization, we want George Weah to step down. Then you see, you're not gonna let me talk. All of you guys do those things. When you know very well your position is weak, then you don't want anybody to make that point.
So there's nothing weak about it. You cannot distance the man from. You cannot separate the man from the COP.
Why not? Why not? Is he not an individual? Is he not an individual?
So you're going to tell me now?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you: is the platform, the COP, the platform that he owns, is that COP platform?
Where were they having all the press conferences with the COP?
Because he allowed them. That doesn't mean anything.
Where?
In Root FM. Root FM. He allowed them. Do you know the arrangement? You can't do that. Do you know what there was? Do you know what Mr. Double, do you know whether there was an arrangement between COP and Root FM as to whether they're going to utilize this place or not?
They were nothing to pull out there and say there's an agreement, so I will assume. I'm assuming.
You assuming. Don't assume. Give us some facts. You're in the business. No, you can't just assume. You can't, because your assumption is wrong. Because you don't know what.
Assuming that it's corruption, George Weah is corrupt, and they are assuming, but they don't.
Oh, you see, you can't. When you do this, because somebody else assumed that George Weah is corrupt, so therefore you're going to assume that this person did X, Y, Z. That's not a good argument, my brother. But anyway,
so there's no way can they say that man from the action.
No, I can successfully.
The man is the chairman of the COP.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So you want to tell me if
you were going to allow those guys to march after people make the fucking remarks.
You see that you're gonna step way ahead of us now, and you will want me to speculate 10 years from now.
The man is in there. Then you tell the man, "Give me 10 minutes so I can come and train you."
Okay.
So there's no
All
way
right.
anybody going to do that to me. Have a wonderful year, Mr. Show.
Okay, you too. Thank you very much. That's Prince Dover. I call him president. President of one of the chapter of Grand Union Association, former president that is. Folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Give me a call. I know a lot of things are going against me here tonight, but that's okay. That's just what we do. You think if you have a position and believe in it, you stay with it. You stay with it. Whether you have 1,000 people against it, but as long as you believe in your position, you stay with it. And folks, I think I'm right, to be honest with you, because yes, I agree with all they've been saying. That Custer is a chairman of COP. That Custer owns Roof FM. That Custer has the platform that he goes on and speak. Fine, that's where it ends. COP is an entity. COP presented a statement to the government. And that's what we're holding them by. You can't hold them by the statement that is made by an individual member, even though that member is a chairperson. In the statement the member made, he never once said, I'm making this statement because I am the chairman of COP, therefore COP is saying. That's never been done. So why were you saying now that because he made that statement, therefore COP should be held responsible for that? That means you're not trying to separate this thing here. We can't do that. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, folks, I think this show is getting hot here on the New Year Day. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, my name is Julius Bonto. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Okay. What's on your mind?
Yes, yes, I listened to you briefly with the previous caller, and I think from my understanding, you was trying to disassociate the statement that Costa made from the COP. If I'm right, I stand to be correct.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to distinguish that, trying to separate those two.
Yes, but again, it's just very difficult, to separate the snake, the hair of the snake from the snake. Because the hair is part of the body of the snake. And it's just very difficult. The reason here is that it's very simple. It tells you also that as a leader, you have to be very, very careful with your utterances.
Oh my goodness.
And because of the statement he may have made that statement privately, as a private citizen. Or he may even say that I'm not speaking as a head of the COP. But it still have that trickle-down effect.
My brother, I agree. I don't mean to interrupt. I agree. That was reckless. But that does not negate the fact that is not the position of COP. The reckless statement from Costa does not tie them. Don't tie the entire entity to a reckless statement from the chairman.
Listen. When we discussing those things are issues that affect the lives of our people and that has the propensity to trickle down, to put our country into another chaos. So for me, I don't discuss them, with sentiment. I don't want to be sentimental. But then my question would be, if the COP came out to say, look, this man never spoke as a chairperson, as a COP, they all came out to revoke that statement?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, but let me give it. Well, they listen now. They did that by their letter to the Justice Minister, because Costa has been saying it.
Listen, it was not even enough. How many? Let's assume that you read a letter to the Minister of Justice. Would the Minister of Justice go on any local radio station to read that letter? I think the best thing they could have done was call a press conference where most people would listen to say, look, why it's true that he's part of us and he fight with the head of the COP, but COP is not in no agreement with that statement he made. We distance ourselves. We will protest, which is our constitutional right, but we will remain peaceful. We are not here to form down anybody. Okay. If he does that, or if the COP itself was going to do that, then I don't think our international partners will come down hard on them.
No, but they didn't come down hard on them on any issue. The only thing they did was to invite Costa to clarify his statement about the arming people with the trying to protect himself, and he did that. It has nothing to do with his statement. Judge, we have stepped down. They never questioned any of them about that. Only the Justice Ministry that injected that.
Let me just tell you something.
Okay.
They may not come publicly like the way you are speaking right now to say anything. But the international community is informed and they are aware. They know the amount of money they spend in Liberia. And they will not sit there. They will allow Liberia going back into her past history. You know, they will allow Liberia to go back to war. So even if they don't come publicly, they will take some measures, you understand me, that will thwart the operation of the COP. Now as we speak, I think the government first said that they should protest to Anthony Thomas Taylor, right, ATS. I heard that. I just heard it even that the U.S. ambassador, in fact, suggesting that they should protest to SCB. Okay. If you look at the Anthony Thomas Taylor, it gave a little feel because why? It's right downtown Monrovia. And most of the activities are happening right downtown Monrovia. So that protest that they will have attract some sense of.
Well, let me just give you a little information.
Let me learn and then you can come.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, it could have attract some sort of fear in people and businesses will be shut down. But when they say that way to Anthony Thomas,
but that's the point that I'm on. That's what I want to disabuse you. That's what I want to disabuse you on. That's what I want to disabuse you on. The statement that is coming from the international community does not state that. They're saying that the protest will happen on the 4th, and it's going to be at the Capitol building. That's what the international community are saying. They're not even talking about anything in the studio.
The government suggested ATS, and now the U.S. embassy saying that they should even use the assembly kind of problem.
But that's what I'm telling you. That's not what they say. That's the point I'm saying.
I just read it this evening.
Oh, okay.
I just read it this evening.
Okay.
Well, your overall discussion here is that there's no way that you can disassociate Costa with the COP.
Okay.
You know, and for Costa to come out to make that kind of reckless statement, and the COP not coming out to differentiate, you know, or to disagree with him, I think it has a trickle down, you know, negative impact on them.
Okay.
You know, and I want to say this. We have to discourage, you know, those kind of things. I'm not saying that everybody can be a one party. No, I would never encourage a one party state because I see that there should be checks and balances. But in doing that, in our disagreement, we should still remain polite and maintain our mutual respect.
I agree.
What Costa is doing, he's even harming his future candidate. Because let's be fair, it's not about who is president. But the office of the president of the Republic of Liberia is the higher office in the land. So whether that's chicken in our office or all that door in our office, we should extend that respect to that person.
I agree.
And on social media, every day insulting the president and saying this, things.
No, those are things I frown on myself. I'm really not comfortable with those things either.
If you go against this government, fine, but there are issues that you can discuss and yet still people will still agree with you. Talking about civil servitude, talking about corruption in government. You understand me? There are a lot of things that you can embark upon, that you can speak upon. You know, when you go over there, you insult the people. Because I even said one on a radio station, or one on a radio show that you get money to, you can buy, go to, and take water, like all those kind of things.
Okay.
You understand me?
Right.
So when you're doing that, our international partner will see you, will support you. Okay. You know, so let us not support those kind of things.
Right.
You know, for the fact that he will even come out to say those things, we all should condemn it.
Okay.
You know, that doesn't mean that we prefer a one-party state. No.
Right.
So that's my
okay.
point.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, folks, Samson told LeBron Public, I think I'm supposed to be, the people been calling me for DJing, and I've been on here, not even going to do, and then DJ for people, that's not good at all, folks. And it's New Year, folks. Basically, what we're doing here this evening is having you heard my CEO, who is the CEO of LPR, LeBron Public Radio. He has a different view. I have a different view. And I'm not going to take a back seat on that. And he has allowed us, we all have the right to believe in what we believe in and state what I believe is the fact. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that my position should be center stage or should be the end result. You don't have to believe it either. And I think many of you continue to write here. Some of you are saying that I'm talking nonsense and what have you. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, my name is Samuel. I'm calling from Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Tu.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I want to ask you one question before I say anything about Henry Foster.
Go ahead.
When somebody look at you and say, Mr. Tu, I will come to your house and beat you and get you on the street like market dog, will your children allow that person to even enter your yard? Without the next statement. Yes, somebody,
I'm not a public figure, and I'm not working for the public. So no, they won't let him come here because this is a private citizen and this is a private entity, private dwelling. So you can't come here.
Yeah, all right. So we all know we live, what gives everybody opportunity to live in America here. We all see how the people do their politics in America here. When you ever see any politician or any activist to even go on air and use all your remark on a president or a sitting president who is elected by the people?
What's wrong with that?
No, the statement here put by telling the public that he will reject the president and market dog.
So that doesn't make it fight. Yeah. That doesn't make it anything.
No. Yeah, it's wrong.
Okay, I agree with you. It's wrong. I'm not comfortable with that. I won't make that kind of statement, but he has the right to make any statement he wants to make. That doesn't make it factual.
No. Freedom of speech does not give you the right to go above. To go contrary. Yeah. Sometimes when you make it to your statement, or when you bet or or something, you have to control your anger.
You can't. For example, you can't stay in say yell fire in a movie theater. That's against the rule. But you can stay anywhere and say anything about, especially as president of the Republic of Liberia. You can say anything you want to say about him. That doesn't make that doesn't make that doesn't. And the only thing it does, it shows that you're a rude person, and it shows that the community that you're living in are not going to be comfortable with things that are coming out of your mouth. That's about it. Nothing else.
All right. Yeah. One of the important things I want to say, the COP is not in the interest of the Liberian people.
What perspective?
All the people.
What perspective? No, I understand that, but what perspective? You know, let's engage each other because I'm engaging with you guys here from time to time. So, what perspective? How do you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, the reason I'm saying is that number one, the Unity Party and General Secretary, he worked for the Unity Party for 12 years, and they just lost election. Henry Foster.
Okay.
It's for all Liberian parties.
Okay. All right.
US.
All right.
And he has position within the party. Okay. And now he member and he's chairman and speaker for COP.
Okay. All right, my brother. Okay. I think your point is well understood. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, my brother. I know your point you're making. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, give me a call. I think I'm not going to DJ anybody here tonight, so I think they're going to play the music themselves because I got to work tomorrow anyway. So give me a call, 9165. I think this subject matter is Alfonso have put me in a big water here, but I'm not going to drown in it because I know my position, and I will continue to argue my position. And I think Prince Double and Mr. Soul trying to frame it differently than what it's supposed to be. And I think these two gentlemen have the ability to separate. They have the ability to compartmentalize issues. They're not slash. These are educated people. So but by them coming here to argue, I just don't agree. Samson told LeBron Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Sorry, my name is Edward Youngo, and I just want to throw light on some of the issues you guys are discussing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe for me, as a head of any institution or organization, you have to be careful of what you say.
I agree.
And I believe that words matter.
I agree.
Yeah, so let us be factual here.
Okay.
If our brother Costa made an error, he admitted, he said, oh yes, that was not good, and people warned him on that. But he had to be careful what he did.
But no, they didn't warn him because of the statement, we have stepped down. That was not the reason why he was called. That was not the warning they gave him. They gave him warning because of the statement he made about violence. Yes.
Yeah, we do agree.
Okay.
But as a head, as we are saying, those kind of statements have a thicker down effect.
I agree.
Because there are people on the other side, when I understand, they might want to satisfy that leader and say, oh, okay, this is the way we have to go about doing these things.
I agree.
So
I think you and I on the same boat. The only difference here, if you're going to make a conclusion and try to tie Costa, this is my argument, to tie Costa reckless statement to that of COP position, that what I say no. But as far as everything else is concerned, Costa being the chairperson, should be careful what he's come out of his mouth and how he attacked the issue. And I think, and this is what I'm giving him a pass. I said we're all learning, and I think the young man, having had this much sacrifice that he put into this thing for the people, we should also be lenient in our condemnation. We should be lenient in our pronouncement of his error. In other words, let's give him the opportunity to say, okay, we're all learning. It's the same opportunity that we're giving Dr. Weah and his people. They're being empowered now. Nobody's forcing them out, but we're pointing their error out, which you're doing here, which is okay. But don't connect that to the COP.
We do agree.
Okay.
We agree.
Okay.
That was a very, very bad statement he made.
I agree.
We're saying because we want our country to be peaceful.
Okay.
Some of us spend some time out of the country. We worry every time things go on. We want the Liberian people to live in peace because we too will be in peace when that is happening. Okay, but as a leader, as a head of an institution or organization, you gotta be careful what you say. Don't be carried away by feelings because people will always think you, they will always hate you and trying to find your weak spot. And if you come out and do that, then people are going to say, oh, this is not the right person for the job. That's why in law enforcement, when you are arrested, the police will judge you. You have the right to remain silent because anything you say here will be used against you. Okay, so I want to throw out this word to the gentleman. Let him be careful what he says. Okay, we do understand that hardship in the country, things going on wrong, economic hardship, that is not good. And few people are 1% up there enjoying and people just doing things that, without accountability. They are calling down for certain officials to step down and go to stuff. Let us be careful how we go about doing these things.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So I just want to rely on that,
Thank you, my brother. I agree with everything you guys are saying, and I also have, like I've stated from the beginning, I've been saying it. In as much as I appreciate Costa's effort, there are certain statements that he has made that I'm not comfortable with. And I will not put myself in no type of situation to call president a rogue. A president, we are now. Costa could have been in our office tomorrow. Could be in our office tomorrow where he allow people to degrade the office. So those are things but for me, those are not that critical. Those are not that critical as opposed to what is happening in the country right now. And St. Costa, and this is what I'm saying, St. Costa has allowed himself to be in this position I'm not saying we should let him slide or what have you. If we want to criticize, let's do it. Let's criticize him. But we should not criticize his individual position to that and try to connect it as an overall position of COP. That I will not agree with, and that I don't agree with.
Yeah, we do understand that may not be the official statement of the COP.
Exactly.
But what the Liberian people are looking at, what someone is looking at, at the head of that, we are saying that can have a trickle-down effect on the entire body.
I agree, and that's why he was called it last time when he made that statement. And that's exactly the position you're taking. That was the position of the international community. That whatever you say publicly like that, your supporters might misconstrue that and take it to be something else. And he said he recognized it, and according to him, that's not going to happen anymore. And in fact, he retracted his statement. Okay, so those are all learning process for all of us. We're learning as we go on. These things are not something you can take lightly. Okay, so we're all in the learning process. Let us give these young people the opportunity to continue to engage each other. It's better than to fight. So that's my point.
That's true. It is better. And another thing that we have to discuss is that the run from corruption in Liberia today, unfolding today, it just started today. This is something that has grown up, that has lived for the people. So when anybody gets into public office, they believe that they're going to enrich themselves and do all kinds of stuff. So this is something that has been in the society for a long, long time, not just today. So if the present government is there and a lot of things going on, so all we need is, actually, and one of the things we should look at is actually the separate branches of government.
Hold on to your thought. President Timmons Collins, please call and make your comment here and tell me where you stand on this, because your ideas and your experience very, very much in tune with whatever we're discussing here this afternoon. That's President Timmons Collins. You can call me here and give your view, because I think at this time, you need to call us. Anyway, go ahead, my brother. Go ahead, finish your statement.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I said the triple branch of government, they are not really independent of themselves. Because it's like you have the guys in the house, they all look up to the executive branch for decision making because of the party system. Because you have a lot of division in there, and they're able to count. So the rest of the political institution or party will not really, the voice won't really be heavy in the house. So when it comes to decision making, definitely the ruling party will always take the day. So I think people should stand up, and then Liberians be able to vote for people that can stand for them, who understand, what actually how government should be run. But what we're saying, the house is so occupied with one party, so you will not have any good result, that will cover the Liberian population. So we just want to rely on some of these things. It is good that we came up to the conclusion that Costa made an error. It might not be the official statement of the COP, but let him be careful, and there was a major kind of safety.
Okay. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
All right, folks, this is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. Like I said, I'm not taking backseat on this at all. I'm sticking with my position, which is why we all agree that Costa Cummings was reckless, even though he's the chairperson, until he can. You see, this is where you guys and myself kind of little bit going back and forth, because my training, my education require substance, require for me to see it there, yeah. That rock there, that rock is this many pounds, take it out. What going back in there? The same weight of that rock. Is that the same kind of weight going back in there? Who's filling the void? What is the volume that I'm taking out? I have to put that same volume back. I can't assume that I put something there, maybe when it snow or when it rain and things like that, will bring all the rock there and fill it back in. No. I don't do that in my business. What I take out, I put back. I don't assume for somebody else to come and fill it next time. No. So when I'm dealing with these things, when I'm making an analysis on these things here, I want to make sure that things are straight. We're saying Costa's statement was reckless. We all agree on that. Okay, as a chairperson of an entity, even if those are individual statements, and I'm one of those that continue to say that all of us as Liberians are not on the same page at all times. I'm not even smart. I'm dumb. Okay, so let me make that point. You want to go write it. Okay, so if you're going to be leading me, you should take my dumbness into consideration. So not every one of us have the ability to understand the same thing. So let us agree with all of that. However, until Costa he comes out and say, I, Henry Costa. Remember, Henry Costa, the chairman of COP. Okay? I, Henry Costa, chairman of COP, says as chairman, the entity, or he doesn't even have to say that, as chairman, we want George Weah down. Then you can tie the COP to that statement. But as long as he's speaking on his platform as an individual, because the platform does not belong to COP either. So that's two strikes against you guys. The platform that was utilized to spread the ridiculous message doesn't belong to COP. COP has no control. COP cannot say, don't use that platform to spread that kinds of message. They can't say that. Number one. Costa, you see, when you guys argue, sometimes you argue ridiculous because you don't even know what the constitution of COP, if they have such, or what their document on a memorandum of understanding to be member of COP. What are you allowed to say and what are you not supposed to say? We don't even know any of these things. We don't know those things. What is the makeup of the COP? All we know we know they got chairman, membership, and stuff, whatever. But we don't know the document of memorandum of understanding that bind them together. What are things you're supposed to say? How you're supposed to function? What the arrangement they have to allow their chairman to utilize the Root FM platform. What type of arrangement? You don't know these things. And then you're going to come out and try to wrap the whole thing around COP. That I will not accept, and I'm not going to agree with it. Okay? So Henry Costa is a chairman. I agree. Henry Costa made a ridiculous statement, reckless statement. I don't agree with that statement. I've been saying it over and over. However, Henry Costa is a chairman. But when they wrote the Justice Ministry asking for protection, which is a legal binding document that was utilized to communicate effectively with the government of the Republic of Liberia from COP, in that letter, there's nothing in there to say we want George Weah come down. So if you want to say that Henry Costa is manipulating the whole system, then his position should have been number one position in that letter. If you're going to claim that Henry Costa is the chairperson of COP, strangling COP, Henry Costa is the all COP, Henry Costa, COP, all in one, then that letter should have been reflected based on his ideas. But I'm telling you, as an individual, his statement is different. COP, when they went to put that letter out, asking the government for protection, you think those things was not discussed? You think these people just stupid running around? That's what you want to tell me? I bet you in their communication, in their process, those things were discussed. And in fact, I played the tape here the last time. When Henry Costa was trying to discuss that letter the next day from the Justice Minister, Henry Costa brought that up. Definitely that has been discussed. And they all agree as an individual member of the COP, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. But as an entity, speaking on behalf of an entity, That wasn't the position of the entity. And that's why Henry Costa and the entity were never held responsible by the international community for the George Weah step down campaign. They only called Henry Costa when he made a statement which has to do with violence. And the fact that the violence he was talking about, it was people dying. So they said, wait a minute. You're calling all these people and you're saying that you're going to arm. That's two different things. So, folks, this is not something that everyone, these things, I keep telling you guys, when we come to these things, I understand we're coming with emotions because these are all emotional things. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. I don't take your position lightly. I respect your position. And I'm not going to say, don't say that, because you have the right to that. We're talking Liberia. We could have been a big mess this coming Monday if God has not stepped in. Children would have been in the street dying. So when we come here to discuss these kinds of stuff, none of us taking it lightly. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys' involvement with me. And I hope you will allow me the opportunity to express myself and allow me to be an individual as well. I don't have to accept your position to be right. I don't have to accept your position to be a member of your community. Because we all have a diverse view. Yet, we consider ourselves one community, one people from the same country. So these things, and so these are some of the things. Look at us, just within the last hour or so. The Francis and myself, we talk every day, 3-4 times a day. But look at us having these kinds of discussion in public, where everybody all over the world that clicking on this will be able to hear us. He's my brother. We talk every day. Every day. If tomorrow I'll talk to him by certain time, he'll call me. I'll hear from you today. But because we have a different view on different things, that does not erase the relationship we have. But that's how you move the ball forward. Here on Liberian Public Radio, we're not here for one person or the one group or the government or COP or whatever. He believes in his position. I believe in my position. And we have the right to disagree. But that does not go to spoil or break our relationship as my brother. Far from it. He and I have gone worse than this before. Yeah, sometimes he invites me on his show because I'm a liberal and I have a liberal view. And if I in a community, they call me the liberal progressive. Because I don't talk too much about conservatives and all these people coming out with different ideas and then refusing to allow people to speak freely, trying to restrict people's view because of their conservative view. It ain't happening here on the liberal voice. Here, you're allowed to say, speak your mind. Always say, do it with respect. Folks, listen, I just love getting into Happy New Year like this here with Alfonso coming out here with his conservative Donald Trump view and me knocking it back in the park. I just knock it out of here. This is progressive land. Liberia is a liberal progressive land. Oh, I better be careful because you got some conservative on that side as well. But is that not a big thing? Liberia is a big place for us to have conservative and liberal view going the same time. At the end, we seek one result only. The betterment of our people. Our people must be living better. That's all it is. But how we get there, it's the sticking point. So once again, LIBERIA Public Radio has just demonstrated to you here this evening who we are. We don't agree on a lot of things all the time, but we are a group of people who believe in Liberia issues. And we'll do everything possible to promote the issue, whether we agree or not. But the end result is a platform that is utilized by Liberians. You don't have to be a conservative just to come on here. You don't have to be a liberal just to come on. You can come on here anytime you want. It's a free platform that allows you to express yourself. But we do so with respect. Folks, Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm rocking tonight. I even got Prince Double out of his shell coming on here with bottle room. I love it when I do that. The liberal progressive. I bring all the conservative boys up. They think they can make it with me. They are more cool. They're liberal progressive. You can't make it with me. I'm not cool. You can't touch me. Prince Dava, he man, Fonso. So you think I don't know you? You're conservative. You think I know you? I know you. Yeah, come here, come. Yeah, but you're gonna tie. No. This is a liberal view. You can't tie nothing to anybody except what you can prove. Sure. You can prove. You can't assume. That's how conservative. That's how they suppress people's view, because they assume that you're coming in with some communist idea or socialist idea, and they assume that, and because of that assumption, they depress. They put your view down. They don't want to. I don't even know how to say it now. They put your view down. But on the liberal side, and your communist view, let's hear it. If I don't agree with it, I tell you, I don't agree with your view. I'm not going to suppress your view. If your socialist does not fit my need, I don't need it. But I allow you to express it. That is the difference between the progressive, liberal progressive, and those conservative Sean Hannity people. Then let them go sit down one place, man. This is a liberal program. You come here with your Sean Hannity view. We're not gonna take a Sam Sinto. Folks, I got two conservatives. They come on me here tonight. They try to knock me out of my own liberal view and what have you. They want to tie Custer statement, reckless statement, we agree, but you can't tie it around the neck of the COP. That is not right, and that is not acceptable. Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Public Radio. Folks, it's been a wonderful day. They're still writing. Folks, they're still writing. Yeah, they owe me, but I don't care. Okay. Yo, go ahead, but all I know, you got no standing. Conservative, you got no standing. Folks, Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Public Radio, I want to thank all of you again tonight. It's a wonderful, wow, almost 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock? 11 o'clock over there in the East Coast? And Fonso's still up here? Let me get out of here, folks. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. We say first thing we want to do here before we close is to thank my God. I want to thank my God for this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful blessing, for putting us in this type of a position, giving us the opportunity to come back again this year. Lord Jesus, we say thank you. Thank you. And we'll continue to offer our prayer for our country, to the leadership of our country, to those who are trying for the leadership to do good for our people as well. Lord, I don't believe any of them are doing it strictly based on hatred, because they feel within themselves that they are doing things that if you were here would do for the poor as well. The government was not elected to be bad to his people. No way. The government is doing the best, we believe, for its people as well. But if there's an opening, anytime we have an opportunity, if there's genuine criticism, we will say so. If it's time to praise, we praise. If it's time to criticize, we do so. But all we say is that we do it with responsibility. And so, God, as I'm about ready to close, I say thank you. Continue to bless all of us as we offer prayer for every one of us, for each other, so that the blessings that you continue to pour on us will shine all the time. God is good all the time. I want to thank you. Folks, this is Samson Toll, LIBERIA Public Radio. Before I close, let me play this music one more time, and then I will say good night to all of you. Samson Toll, let's listen in.
Cairo.
very much. We want to say good night to all of you. But before we say that, let me just throw one more zinger at these people here. The two conservatives that tried to come on my show here tonight and come out with their conservative view. On a very serious note, those of you that were listening, they were not able to argue substance. Their argument was based on process. Process. It has nothing to do with substance. Substance, like, is the government performing well. They're not talking about that one. Substance, like, does the government need to reshuffle? They're not talking about that one. Substance, like, is the exchange rate in the country suitable for that country? They're not going to argue that. Substance, like, what's about the prices, food prices in the country? They're not going to talk about that. They're arguing process. Process. Costa said this, therefore the process. Costa said that, therefore COP. Process. They're not going to argue substance. No. They're not going to argue substance. They're arguing process. So I want you to take that as I say good night to all of you. Samson, I feel what I'm conservative. They will not come by again. They will not come by my show. Watch and see. Samson, though. Folks, I want to say thank you very much and good night to all of you. Let's do it again Wednesday. Please tune into tomorrow, Mr. Soul Show tomorrow. I know tomorrow Mr. Show will take me to the clinic. Those of you that are going to be watching, you will see he will take me to the clinic for no business. I believe he will. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to be ready. But anyway, thank you very much, folks. Those of you that are watching, I mean, happy New Year. Please stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Stay safe. Come back Wednesday and argue with us. Good night, folks.
I know you said that you get.